right. It's time for the ESL Weekly Cup Asia run. We had a lot of banging players in this week, so I want to go through and cast some of the best matches. In the top right, we got herO facing off against Dark in the bottom left. Now, was this a quick hatchery? That seems like a pretty quick hatchery. About 47 seconds. So actually, I think this is a standard one. Your minerals actually mine pretty quickly on Crimson Court. I think the placement is like maybe a pixel closer on like some of these minerals or something like that. Even though they're meant to be very standardized, I do find certain maps, your buildings just go down a couple seconds earlier. And I think this is one of them. So Dark with a nice clean 16 hatchery opening. herO going for a gate scout. Gate gas nexus. One worker pulled off minerals onto gas. That's going to allow him to go for the early Stargate. Now, the last few times I watched them play, herO did look like he was on another level with Dark in the early game. And the thing that upset me, not upset me, but confused me, was Dark wasn't as good at kind of finding those early all-in kill timings. I feel like maybe herO's got really good at blocking queen walks and stuff like that, because Dark wasn't doing many of those strategies or many like Bane busts. He was doing a lot of Ling Flood into like mass upgraded Zerglings straight to Hydras and Lurkers. Like lots of skipping Roach Warren for the entire early game. And that means if you know your opponent's going to do that, and maybe herO does expect that, Glaive Adepts as a follow-up to Oracle. Like surprise Glaive Adepts could be good. Oh, look at this, guys. He's going Twilight, but he's faking the Warp Gate. Okay. So he's making it look like a Stargate. Notice how that Warp Gate just started spinning. So the Overlord sees that. Dark goes, that's pretty late. You've gone for Stargate, but he's actually not. Now, to be fair, this build order is more efficient for herO, I believe, if he left 16 on minerals. Oh, yeah, definitely is. Because you see, he's even pulling workers off gas. This is a very sharp Glaive Adept timing that he's going to be doing. Now, I think he's doing the build order. Did we have sound off? No. It looks like I was just off camera there, so we didn't see the shade. I think he's going to go no Robo. I could be wrong, but we'll keep our eyes on it. Never mind. Robo goes down. Okay. Third base at the front for Dark. This is also something the Zergs keep doing on this map, whereas if you take these minerals open, mine that third there, or you take this one, they're so much easier to defend, in my opinion. I think this purple gas base is such a meme, and I think the Zergs are taking it way too often. Not enough mind games really going on, and a little bit too predictable. It is 4-gate. He's forgot to start Glaives, though. Mate, you gotta start Glaives! Oh gosh, herO. Sometime today, bro. There we go. Glaives finally does start. He cuts himself from a bit of pro production to get that one started. This is going to be a 4-gate into now 5-gate Glaives. Wow. Well, I was thinking Glaive Adepts after Oracle, guys. I was not thinking about Glaive Adept before Oracle. Now, at this point, Dark has 2 queens in the main, 2 in the natural. See that 4th queen just popped out. And he's not seeing an Oracle. At 4 minutes, if you don't see an Oracle, you need to start thinking, hey, wait a second, this might be Twilight or Robo. We're getting to that point now. He's trying to take the gas at the front. Roach Warren goes down. But you're not going to be able to mine off that gas. This is the problem with this. You need a second gas back here, mate. That purple gas at the front, there is no way that survives this game. 2 spores? Why is he... Oh, no, he canceled the spore in the main, I think. But he's building a spore there. Wait, why is he building a spore in the main? I think he still... thinks it might be Oracles. I guess that keeps you safe against Dark Templar. Problem is his worker count's very, very low. Adepts are coming forward. herO goes for more probes and a 3rd gas behind this. He's not all in. So he's going to hit just after 4 minutes 30 with 6 Adepts already here. 4 more ready to warp in, or maybe even 5. Glaives is almost done. It's not ready just yet. Prism will have to siege up and warp in on the front. So only Lings to defend so far, which can just stop the first shade. But he needs Roaches desperately. Dark supply blocked. Oh, you're kidding me. The Roach Warren just finished. And he's supply blocked. Oh, Dark. He's got all 6 queens on the front, which is good. But, dude, this is not the time to be supply blocked. It's a very Dark-style thing to happen, though. Oh, he commits to the shade. herO gets in the corner. Dark should have moved into the corner a little bit. But I still think it's okay for him. The Ling's got good surface area. Queens kind of push the Prism back. A lot of these Adepts are falling. Pretty good defense by Dark so far. He's got 13 Roaches building as well. Really nice defense by Dark. Look at that units lost tab, guys. He's lost 30 Zerglings, but he killed 6 Adepts. He's looking A-okay. Roaches trying to pull back. You don't want to let them get focused down. A lot of the Roaches are going backwards to try and cover this Adept shade. He lets the shade finish. This is great for Dark. Dark's taking out these Adepts. As long as he doesn't lose any drones, he's going to be fine. But remember, if he loses even 5 or 6 drones, his economy is already lower. And here we go, going for the workers now. The drones do pull away. 1 worker goes down. Make it 2, make it 3. The Adepts will shade to the natural. Another 4th worker goes down. Roaches are on top. This is where the damage starts to come in. Dark needs to hold the drone key down. He's building Zerglings, which makes me think he might be thinking about doing a Roach Ravagerling counterattack right now. Incredibly risky ploy, but could pay off big time. Oh, he loses the drones on the rich gas. He starts droning up now. I think that's a little bit too little too late. These Adepts are coming in. A few of them will go down in the retreat. Some of them get back. The Queens are on top. The Prism ready for the hot pickup. Picks off 2 or 3 drones and gets on out of there. Nice moves for herO, who's still only on 2 base behind it, but he's on 5 gate, 2 base. And with mass Zergling building, Dark looks like he's all in. If he droned up, I think he could recover, but he needs to get back to 45 drones, 4 gases, and mass Roach Ravager. I think he knows there's an Adept Immortal attack coming, in which case he needs more Ravagers and Roaches as quickly as possible. Lings are not going to do anything against mass Adept. Roaches, on the other hand, will be what you need. Even though there's Immortals, there's only 2 of them with a 3rd on the way. 2 Adepts go in. Only 1 Adept goes down for 2 drones. Denying the rich gas base is huge. Adepts and Immortals from the low ground able to do their damage. Prism provides a little bit of high ground vision, but watch out, the Queens are coming forward. The Queens could take out that Prism. The Prism does have to back away. Queens trying to skirmish against these Immortals. One of the Immortal barriers has been taken down. The other one is active. Oh no! My Starcraft's frozen. That's happened a few times randomly recently. I have no idea what's going on there. Apologies for that, guys. As it seems like the recording didn't glitch. Everything else on my computer seems fine. But Starcraft just hanging for a sec. Could be a server issue, I don't know. Doesn't make sense if you're in a replay, though. Roach is getting hammered. Queen's going down as well. Dude, he cancels the shade. The Lings, they were waiting for the shade. Now the Lings have to engage on the front. That's a lot of Roach Ravager, though. Oh my gosh. Dark's army is massive. herO just needs to not fight. herO just needs to go take a 3rd and defend. He just needs to not fight. Because right now, Dark has such a bad economy. He kind of needs to fight. herO's going to attack into the position. Oh my god, he threw his Prism away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's going to shade as well. Why, herO? Why would you do that? What? The mad lad. He's insane. He's actually insane. The timing as well. I'm like, all he needs to do is not attack and defend a 3rd, and he wins because Dark has no economy. Instantly throws his entire army away. Oh my gosh, no. Don't lose this game, herO. You've got such a lead. He's miles out on the economy, but he's at half the army supply. herO, and he's just got... He saw a giant army. I don't know why he chose to shade there. Up to that point, he kept canceling the shade because he realized that there was so many Zerglings that he can't shade into a surround of Zerglings. Instead, keep the Lings out of the battle by threatening the shade and go for it. For Immortals, Sentries, and Adepts. The Adepts do well versus the Zerglings. The Immortals do okay versus the Roach Ravager, but one of them is going to go down. The second one on the right side getting very low. The Immortals do pull into the mineral line nicely in the north. Another Immortal does go down. There's still 3 Immortals alive, but it looks like Dark has enough to break through. There's only 1 Immortal in the top left, 1 in the bottom right. That one in the top right will get surrounded, and herO is going to have to tap out of this game. GG, well played. What in the hell, man? That was a bizarre game there. I feel like herO didn't necessarily have it in the bag, but he put Dark in such an all-in position. And I feel like he had the info to know that, right? Because he's like, yeah, your base has no mining on your 3rd. There's rich gas here that keeps getting denied. I mean, he saw how low the worker count was earlier. You see how much army there is. You should be able to assume that this is not a good economy. And then just commits to this fight. Loses the Prism as well. It's like, what is this micro, man? And he's like, well, as long as the Immortals get out of there, I'm happy. I don't know. If the Adepts were in a bit more of a corner away from the Ravagers, they might have traded better. That was a nonsense fight from herO. I think he was in a decent spot, just needed to pull back. If he had more Adepts to defend his Immortals from the Zerglings, the Immortals would have easily defended the Roach Ravager. Unfortunate play for herO, but Dark takes game 1. The classic herO clutching defeat from the jaws of victory. Him and Dark always have games like this. Dark on just 31 drones was in a big spot of bother. I really think that whole early game could be so much easier if Dark just took the normal 3rd base, which no one does. No Zerg does. They all take that rich gas base, but I really do think it's a bit of a trap, especially against those Glaive Adept builds. Now, hero's going to come across early for a block, and that's going to be a bummer. Dark's going to come down. Like, cool, time to take my natural. There's no probe here. Let's turn around. Oh, no, there is a probe there. We're just going to continue to the 3rd and keep doing what we do. Yeah, the Adepts were trading okay. Even though there was plenty of Roaches out and Lings, and Dark did a pretty good job scrambling to defend, he definitely with a more normal 3rd would have been in a bit of a nicer position. It is what it is. hero's going to circle around the minerals trying to bait those drones into attacking him. Gateway comes up behind it. Now he's going to do the old Cybercore straight there? Or do you think... I think he does it here, right? That really bad wall-off that he loves. Probe still harassing the minerals in the back. Yeah, Dark's been a real mixed bag lately. He's had moments where he's looked like an absolute god of StarCraft. He's also had moments where he's kind of fallen apart under pressure. You never know what you're going to get with Dark, and you put him and herO together, and obviously it ups that factor 1,000 times. It was a good decisive counterattack and very good Ravager Ling micro, but I always feel like Ravager Ling counterattacks, they have great potential, but usually not against Adept Immortal, because Adept Immortal is just such a nice combo, especially with some batteries to heal it, where the Adepts just shred the Lings, the Immortals just have good ranged firepower, staying power, and they do really well. Talon is Dark's team name, guys. It is, of course, Dragon Kaiser Gaming is herO's team. But no clan tag for either of them. He's still got this something or other crew. His old clan tag there does Dark, and herO does not have the DKZ team as a clan that he's joined, which is why he doesn't have the tag either. Now, chronoing Adept across is usually a good way to start. Put the pressure on, force some mistakes. But it's only one chrono. Adept into Stalker. This has gotten more popular recently, guys. And look at that. He uses the probe to find the Zerglings, and he's kind of trying to track them to threaten. So only now does Dark realize, oh, the Adept actually came across the map, because he thought it was hidden. He thought that Adept was hidden at home, ready to block him. Ling speed's on the way. It's about halfway done. That drone does escape. Adept gets in towards the main base. Queen should be able to come forwards and push that Adept back. Ling's on top of the shade, as is the Queen. And he's going to go to the high ground. Oh, cute. Very cute harassment there. Does manage to damage a few of these workers. Nice positioning, man. Spore Crawler trick goes down. And the Adept does take out one of the Zerglings, as well as damaging a few drones. Forcing a Spore Crawler trick is always nice. Stalker goes after the Overlord. Dark not watching, doesn't put it on the high ground. Which means that Oracle, normally the Oracle has to sit there, spotting the high ground for a few seconds. Instead, herO can come straight across the map. He's already building a second gateway behind this, so he's got a little bit more Adept pressure. Or production, I should say. Second Oracle starts up. Two Overlords building. Dark hitting a massive supply block. The Overlords are coming out to get him out of that at least. Oracle moving down that right side of the map. I'm unsure if you're aware, Pig, but herO played about 20 hours ago in the World Team League. I did not know that at all. I've been getting prepared to cast some of the WTL games. Oh, hold that thought. Oracle gets 3 drones. Massive. So for those who don't know, because he's in boot camp right now, I don't think he's finished boot camp, but he, so he hasn't been playing for Basilisk. They instead have an alliance. Apparently each teams can have like an alliance with another team or whatever. So they have Showtime from Big Esports. They're kind of paired up with Basilisk. So he's been taking Cyril's spot, which is obviously making their matches very competitive. Raynor has to play as the ace at the moment. And it's been kind of cool, and I really want to catch up on some of those matches and cast some of those for you guys over the next week or two. But apparently, Cyril came in, he played, he was on camera, and he was at home as well. So apparently he was maybe just visiting home for the weekend or something. Maybe he just finished boot camp or in between it, and was able to hop on for a match. So that's very exciting. I'll definitely make sure I catch up with the results there. +1 melee is on the way. 2 Overlords building. Lots of Queens and Zerglings coming out. Yeah, this is the classic Dark style I was talking about, guys. He wants to play Mass Ling Queen. No Rotron, nothing else. And he just wants to go towards, like, Lair for potentially Hydras and Lurkers. Okay, Ling's going after the Adepts. The Adepts are going to get surrounded, but... Oh, no. They actually got a good angle. Those drones need to run. Those drones need to get out of here, man. Just let the Queens deal with it, even though it'll take a while. 4 drones do go down. Adepts are in the main base. Not enough Zerglings to defend. Dude, Dark's getting hammered. He's trying to fight Adepts with drones. Not like that, mate. Not like that. Oracles skirt around. They say, nope, there's Queens there. That's fine. Oh, drones in the open. Oh, you know herO's hungry. Oh, my lord. He finds him. He finds him in the open, and he starts to massacre. Wow. He's going to lose an Oracle. No, even there, he gets the Oracle out. Well done. The Adepts getting up to like 16 plus workers done. Damn, 5 Adepts and 2 Oracles at the 5-minute mark come in and leave 17 drones dead. Dark's early game in tatters. He is completely ripped apart in that early stage. Now, there's more Adepts coming. They shade into the Mass Zergling, which is super unnecessary. I think he thought the Oracles would be there. Wasn't expecting to run into these Zerglings. But you know what? It's good enough. It's good enough for herO. herO's so far ahead. The fact that you just dealt with all the Zerglings by shading into them and using your oracles, you're just miles ahead now. You got 3 bases full of workers. Blink, +1, more oracles, more gateways building. So he's going up to like 4 gateways, a robo. He has such a big economic lead. And Dark, he's forced to build more lings right now. He's screwed. His lair starting at 6:30. He doesn't even have a 4th hatchery started. He desperately needs to get this 4th going to have any chance of getting back in this game. But he is miles and miles behind. And once again, we see that Dark's early game is just nowhere near as good as herO's. And that's the big difference between these two players, and always has been. So the fact that 90% of the time, herO is playing with an advantage once you get to the 7 or 8 minute mark, and Dark's playing with a big disadvantage. I mean, it's part of why Dark's so good at making comebacks, is he's used to playing from behind. But it's also one of those things where on an objective level, you got to look at it and say, dude, there is a massive gap in your game. It's openings, ZVP, ZVT, and ZVZ. And he does refuse to fix it. It's stubbornness. And that's what makes a pro gamer good. It's stubbornly figuring out what works for them. But it also, at a certain point, bites them in the butt. And I think that's what's happening to Dark versus herO, because he's been saying for a while he just can't quite figure out how to outsmart herO. And I think he's got to stop focusing on outsmarting and maybe just study his openings up a little bit, because that happens a bit too often. Dark down 20 supply. He's going to try and come back with a quick infestation pit. No Hydrodon, no Roachhorn. So he's going to play Mass Ling into Ultra. Second Evo Chamber goes down for the Carapace. Oh, I don't know if you can bring it back. I feel like his old Roach Infester style was really good at like surviving from behind, but then again, herO is so good with Blink Micro. You don't really want to fight that with Roaches, do you? But I feel like without any Ravagers, you just can't do this. I think maybe Ravager Ling Infester, you can come back against Blink Pressure, but no, he knows he just can't do it. He has to tap out. herO with a beautiful opening there. And what went wrong for Dark specifically? Let's try and identify exactly what it is, because I don't like to just throw this shade from the sidelines without identifying the specific mistakes. So he goes Ling Speed. He goes for a 3rd hatchery, 3rd Queen, Overlord. This is like picture perfect ZVP. It's just he didn't click his Overlord to the pillar, guys. So this little misclick, this is one of these things where he's busy dealing with the Adept, and it just distracted him. And this one misclick, I think, slows his whole build down a bit. Because if that Overlord sits on the pillar correctly, he'd be able to squeeze in a good 3 or 4 or 5 more drones, and then go for the extra Overlords while waiting for the Oracle to finish him off. But losing this quite so early, it would have just been 2 more drones able to start there. It makes a difference. It's not huge, but it does make a difference. He also had to do a Spore Crawler trick because that Adept on the high ground did a really good job harassing, which Dark should have been quicker to move his Queen over to respond. He was a little slow on that. Other than that, Oracle got 3 drones there. How did that get in? Okay. If we look at his Overlords, guys, he's got 4 Overlords all looking at the same area out front of his base. So he hadn't filled in his air gaps yet. Now, you can never fill in every gap by 4 minutes. You've only got 5 Overlords on the map. But if you notice, he's sending them all to the sort of same location. So we can definitely criticize this and say, hey, wait a second. You've already got an Overlord here. You don't need an Overlord there. This Overlord is going out to the left. This Overlord should be going south. So he probably, I personally would probably have gone Overlord there, maybe an Overlord over here, and then I would probably be going somewhere up here. But it's always hard on this map, because if you put the Overlord here, what if the Oracle comes in from that angle? And then what if they come in down the bottom? You just can't have all these openings. There's always a chance they surprise you sometimes. So let's see, did he react well once he was surprised? It would be the other question. Because he doesn't see the Oracle coming. How quickly does he pull drones? He didn't pull drones at all. Pulled drones, he could have lost 1 or 2 less drones there, would have made a nice difference. He builds 14 Zerglings off 34 drones. I think you could argue this is too early in the game for him to be building so many Zerglings. So he should be droning right now, but instead he's massing Zerglings, and he doesn't do anything with these, right? They go across the map, and they kind of just show their hand too early, and he throws a bunch of Zerglings away. So that was just a very sloppy Ling pressure. He threw away 11 Zerglings for no real gain. And even though an Oracle has died at this point, he's lost 4 drones, 11 Zerglings, and Overlord. And then he gets supply blocked on 66 as the Adepts are arriving. So even when he sees this, he can't build more Zerglings straight away for another 10 seconds until his Overlords pop. So yeah, just sloppy openings. It's just all those little details, whereas herO's opening was pretty clean. You could argue herO built too many pylons, but overall, herO just did a clean opening, and Dark just didn't play on the same caliber of early game. Nice win for herO. All right, guys. We've got herO in the top left side of the map, and that was a nice tie-up. Just a good, clean opening, good heavy pressure. Dark making a few unforced errors. It happens sometimes. And every Zerg knows that after an opening like that, you have to just tap out. Like, you see that Stalker count, you know you can't do anything. Dark knew he was done for. So I know some people will be like, oh, Dark used to be grittier. He'd stay in any game. He was so dead in that game. Normally, he wouldn't have taken quite that much damage. I mean, that was an insane amount of damage he took. Gonna go for the 16 hatchery. There is a probe coming in, but it's kind of like a late probe. Is that even early enough to block a 16 hatch? Just barely, I guess. Does that actually get there before 48 seconds? Wow, he gets there at like 47. And Dark immediately goes for the hatch block because you know that's what he loves to do. Okay, so Dark's going to go for his famous hatchery block build, guys. Now, I saw herO block Raynor when he tried to do this, right? He kind of sensed what was happening. He went for it. Seeing no third hatchery, sends a probe down immediately. So he's like, look, if I can block the hatchery getting down, I'm good. He needs to bring a second probe, though. Second probe needs to come down right now. I think he's waiting till he sees the drone to confirm it. He sees the hatchery back at home now, so he knows it's hatchery first. He sees this. Extra probe comes down. Look at that. Look at how quick he reacts. Because the drone can beat a probe in a fight. But right now, he's just trying to stay close enough to the drone that it doesn't have space to build a hatchery, because a hatchery is a really big building. So you can see there's no way he can get enough room to place that. Cybercore goes down before Nexus. And there we go. Nexus follows it up. Beautiful response for herO. He's gotten so good at responding to this. This is why this wasn't a good call for Raynor in the GSL. Is because herO has played so many games against Dark doing this hatchery block. He's so ready for it now. And it really ruins your opening because this hatchery is crazy late, guys. This hatchery went down like 15 seconds after what a 16 hatchery is meant to go down for. And then he's gone, you know, essentially tried to go 3 hatch before pool. This sporting pool should have been finished a while ago. He hasn't even started queens yet. This is a very sloppy opening for Dark. That being said, I've seen Dark win so many games off this opening. I never count him as being behind off this off the bat, simply because I've seen him make crazy, crazy wins off this so many times. To be fair, gas steal, all you do is force him to take his second gas, and look, as soon as the natural's finishing, he'll just start mining that. It'll still be a very similar to normal build. The only difference is he can't play Stargate. He has to play Twilight from here, because the delayed gas does mess up an Oracle opening. 2 Lings come out for Dark. Ling Speed's on the way. He's moving out to take a third base as well. Now, pylon block could be big. Oh, gets the third down. Good play. Just before the Adept gets here as well. Queens will be out momentarily. Gonna have to run these drones away. Don't want to give away any of these drone kills. Ooh, Adept hit under the Queen. You could see herO tried to click on it. Wasn't able to. Only loses a Zergling. Great job. Great defense. Dark's down 6 workers. That's somewhat standard for this point in the game, though. Third Queen's on the way. He has got his inject on that natural finally. 2 more gateways and the Twilight Council coming in. Hello. The regate glaives, perhaps. 4 gate. No robo, guys. Wouldn't it be funny if he just does a 2-base blink push? I very much doubt that. I don't think that's very good, but cool if that was the case. Twilight Council does get spotted. Reason he built it there is because the pylon was, of course, getting spotted in the main by that extractor. Maybe should have built the pylon on the other side. Glaive starts up. Roach Warren starts up at the same time, as well as a second gas. I think Dark's well prepared mentally. Triple gas, even. Oh, hello. I think he's going to try to get to like 42 workers before building roaches. And I think that's a good call. herO's opening is not crazy optimized. If you can get up to that like over 40 worker count, you're going to be much better off. Whenever you're stuck below 40 workers defending Adepts, it always feels very fragile because you lose 5 or 10 drones and your economy is just in the dumps. That's what happened in game 1, remember? He was on like 38, 39 workers. He loses like 7, 8 workers and bam, he was down to 30 drones and it just felt like he was in a terrible spot. Now he did build a bunch of Zerglings here. I feel like with the earlier Roach Horde, you don't need any Zerglings. You can go pure Roach to defend this. But he's still playing a sort of hybrid Roach-Ling style, which to me says he's planning a Ravager-Ling all-in. Yep, he is. 3 gas. I mean, he should make more Roaches. He's going to have more than enough gas to make 5 Ravagers. But he's just like, lol, let's go. Ling counterattack. Dark going for broke. That pylon's going to go down real quick. Nexus will be soon to follow. Uh-oh, Lings do rally into the Adepts, though. That's nasty. Ravagers will finish morphing. Roaches and Ravagers pretty good against these Adepts. Let's see how they do. The Adepts dive in on top. Nice biles across those Adepts. Do force them to dodge at the very least. One drone runs in and tries to fight. Third Nexus is going to die in a moment. Those Adepts do wriggle behind. Third base gets cancelled. Great reaction there by herO. herO's Adepts inside the main base. He's just going to split focus all those Adepts on those drones. He gets 10 workers. This is what I'm talking about. Even when you shut down the Adepts from doing army versus army damage, he just focuses a few drones down, and your economy is so fragile. 13 workers down to 28 drones. And Dark's kind of got to go across this map, but he's not going to be able to bust the natural. I doubt it. Not with a battery, Adept swapping in off 4 gates, a Stalker. He's got to pull back and just drone. He's building Spore Crawlers right now because he thinks his Spidey sense is tingling and he thinks there's DTs coming. But he's wrong. It's not that. It's actually 2-star Phoenix. And that's even worse for Dark because against 2-star Phoenix, the counter is drones. I know a lot of people will be like, what are you talking about? That sounds dumb. That's not, surely that can't be a thing. It is. You need a ton of drones because queens and spores cost crazy amounts of minerals. And those Phoenix are always going to find Overlord kills, drone kills. They're going to find queen pickoffs. All of those things need to be replaced, which cost you tons of minerals. Dark needs to get up to 60 workers and then start pumping queens and spores. But if you can't get to 60 workers, he's in huge trouble. The Ravagers, though, beautiful siege up. He can't really force his way up the choke point. The Phoenix are just going to come out and show themselves. I think that's an okay call. Oh, this was not a conscious call, was it? He F2'd, that's why. It was not on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose. I think he's just like, ah, crap, you saw it. I might as well show you now. The Phoenix going to try and pick off some of these Ravagers. And look at that. Dodges the Bile and then picks up a different Ravager. Nice moves. Adept Phoenix counterattack. He has to build Roach Queen right now. Queens for the Phoenix, Roaches for the Adepts. If he doesn't build Roaches, he's going to be screwed, but he could be supply blocked soon as those Phoenix come in. This game is very tight. Dark's up to 45 workers, herO on 47. Dark has a base advantage, but herO has the worker advantage. Not to mention some problematic tech with the Phoenix Adept. The drones all hide in the little corner there, which seems cute, but not if the Adepts see them there. Oh my god, he sees them. Does focus one down. The Lings, Roaches, Ravagers, and Queens try to get on top. The Adepts, though, microing away. A Roach goes down. That's a lot of Adepts. That's a crazy Adept shade. herO, you mad dog. He shades into the surround. What the hell? herO, absolute psychopath. Is it the right play? Almost certainly not. herO, you mad dog. He was in such a good position. But instead of taking a third, he just throws his Adepts into the meat grind. I'm telling you, I don't know how this kid has 2 hands to be one of the best StarCraft players in the world. I feel like herO, looking at the way he plays StarCraft, as a child, he absolutely must have just stuck his hand into the meat grinder at home. He'd be like, Mum, what's this do? And she's like, look, all right, just calm down. She looks back, his hands just like ripped to shreds. He's like, I just wanted to find out what happens. And you're like, why? No, you're not meant to, just, why? To be fair, the Phoenix are slaying though. It doesn't matter, guys. The Phoenix are slaying. The drone count for Dark is really weak. He's trying to Roach counterattack right now, which is kind of bizarre that he kept building Roaches so long. I'm surprised he didn't go back to droning earlier, because this is going to give crazy value to the Phoenix, whereas if he just hugs at home his spores, he can just pump drones. Talon Dark is trying to go towards Spire right now. I don't know why. The Spire for Corruptors, you can do it, but he's going to have to make like 10 Corruptors, 15 Corruptors at once, or the Phoenix is going to kill them. The Roaches are all dying, which opens up another counterattack opportunity. herO's third base is up. He's barely probed. He's only built 4 probes. But Dark just kind of poops the bed a little bit. I didn't like that at all, guys. He just leaves the game. What's he... Okay, so he shuts down the Adepts. Surely at this point you go back to droning, right? The moment you realize this is cleaned up, and then you say, look, I'm going to take a lot of damage, but reset each rally point to its own mineral line, build a few more spores, hold the drone key down, and you should be fine. But for some reason... So his queens come to the front, and that's a huge mistake. You need a spore out here right now, because you don't have enough queens to fight this many Phoenix. But he kind of gets lured into the open. He does start droning now. But moving those Phoenix into the open is a disaster. Yeah, that's a disaster. I mean, if moving your queens into the open was a huge mistake. He needed to just hug his mineral lines, and he might have been okay. If his Roaches were going to counterattack, they needed to do it straight. And he starts burrow and Roach speed. He just needs to drone and build queens. herO's economy is really bad. herO has no blink. herO has no follow-up. herO has a massive Phoenix count that's very useful, but he really needed to just chill at home. I think he knew without the queens, once the queens went down, he was probably dead. Guys, I'm going to give Dark props. He was dead. The reason being, I know I'm normally telling people they shouldn't leave early, but in this case, with 1 spore, that does no damage. The Phoenix, if the Roaches don't counterattack, the Phoenix will fly in and kill every Overlord. There's just no way to protect them, right? Well, to be fair, he also never hit his other overlords, even when he saw the Phoenix. So he's got overlords out on the map, which might even be better because at least herO might not find them. But losing all the overlords is going to lock him at about 50 drones. So he kind of has to attack with the... He's in a bad spot. I still think he should have stayed in the game. But the Roach counterattack was just so cost inefficient. And I think he realized, like, how do I defend the Adept Phoenix counterattack? Like, what am I going to do, man? The Phoenix is going to pick up on my Roaches. The Adepts are going to shade into between my bases. And at the end of the day, man, herO with some nice Glaive Adept aggression does take Dark down. And he wins the match. All right, let's head over to the other side of the bracket. We've got Gumiho in the top right side of the map. He's going to be going up against NightMare in the bottom left. NightMare, the Clem Slayer. And this is the semi-final, I believe, on the other side of the bracket, guys. So just one match from the round of 8 here that we're covering before going into this one. And then it will be herO versus ByuN. ByuN made it through to the semis on the other side. So after this match, we'll do herO ByuN, and then the winner of this match will face the winner of herO ByuN in the grand finals. Can't wait to see what goes down. Gumiho's been in the finals, I think, 2 weeks in a row before this. I think he lost to Dark, and then he beat some Solar, something like that. I can't quite remember. Maybe that was Kung Fu Cup I'm thinking. I remember he beat... I think he won 1 week and lost 1 week, I believe. Anyways. Wasn't he playing Mech versus someone? We were watching Gumiho... Oh, man, now I'm having a... Who is he beating with Mech in the final? He beat Solar in the finals. Maybe that was Kung Fu Cup. Remember, that was a really good series, though. Either way, Gumiho's been doing really well. NightMare, on the other hand, has been killing Protoss. Killing Terran. He has been struggling against, like, herO and Max in the PvP. PvZ, he's been killing Raynor a bit. Killed a few guys like Raynor. Oh, I like the recall in the corner. So most players will rally the Reaper out to go find that probe now. But, of course, he'll find that the probe is no longer there. And I've always said I love the recall on the probe. I think it's actually super worth. Glad more people are doing it. Those tuning in live, yep. This is the ESL Asia Weekly from just a few days ago. Last week, whenever it was. Oh, I guess the next weekly will be on in like 5-6 hours tonight. So, I guess we are almost a week after the fact catching up on this. There's been so many good games to cover. So many good StarCraft matches. I'm struggling to keep up, man. People, like, there's so many recommendations I'm getting. So thank you everyone who's been messaging me in my Twitch chat, my Discord, my Twitter. Just being like, hey, man, you got to check out this match. Really fun games. There's been a lot of cool tips I've been getting about matches that are happening. So, like, I wake up every day just finding out there's been a lot of good StarCraft that's happened while I was asleep. And that makes me deeply happy. Now, Gumiho is going for double Reaper Hellion production. This is a massive commitment. It's going to be like 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions really early. He could even go 5 Reaper, 3 Hellion, which is an insane commitment. I would not advise that. Let's see how he goes. Yeah, he swaps to Marines. Okay, so NightMare has a battery and 2 Adepts. A battery and 2 Adepts can defend this pretty well, especially if you have an Oracle. Phoenix? Not as good. He should get this 3rd Adept out just in time to defend. If you have 3 Gateway units, you can definitely defend this. I like the shading backwards. Oh, I love this shading backwards. Look at that. He gets a hit off. 2. Oh, almost gets a 2nd hit, but not quite. So these Adepts are now together, and with the battery, he should be able to defend. He can shade backwards if they try to run past as well. Beautiful defense here by NightMare. He's going 3 Gate. So the only problem with this, you don't have a Twilight, you don't have a Robo. So you're on 3 Gate plus Phoenix. It's very basic units only. The advantage is Gumiho's doing what most Terrans are doing at the moment and just making tons of units off their 1-1-1 and trying to attack with Viking, Cyclone, Marine. And if you shut this down with like Stalker Warp-ins, you can crush. The problem is if he doesn't attack and you warp in Stalker Phoenix here, Stalker Phoenix kind of sucks. So Twilight Council is on the way. 3rd gas is going to come down. NightMare still trying to ascertain kind of what is happening in the game. What is your goal, crazy Terran player? He's going to fly in. Cyclone. Oh, gosh. Doesn't take too much damage, just shields. He doesn't see a 3rd command center. There is a chance there's a 3rd CC hidden back here. So look at the way he comes around the edge. The Phoenix is coming around the back. And that's it. And as soon as he sees no add-ons on the factory and starport and no 3rd command center, he knows exactly what's happening. Oh, Cyclone medevac though. Goodbye, Phoenix. Well, 1 hit point Phoenix will survive. Definitely worth recalling that, I would say. Okay, so he needs to just warp in units nonstop. Remember I said about Phoenix Stalker kind of sucks? But if you know they're attacking you, that's what you want to do. Stalkers can kite Marines, Hellions, Reapers, beat them all head to head, and the Phoenix can pick up the Cyclones as well. He needs to warp in a few more of these Stalkers. 3 Phoenix, 4 Phoenix, more Stalkers warping in as well. 6 Stalkers, 3 Adepts, and 4 Phoenix. What a force. If this isn't enough to defend this and secure the third base, then wow, Terran is good. I mean, Gumiho is hitting very early. That early reactor really beefing up his pressure here, and he didn't throw any of the Reaper Hellion away, which is big. The battery comes up just in time. The Phoenix are coming in. The 1 hit point Phoenix flies in from behind and does get killed. The Cyclone's getting picked up. The Stalkers trying to micro as best they can, but the Phoenix keep getting focused down. Remember, the Nexus isn't finished, which means no battery overcharge. The Stalkers are starting to fall. The medevac healing is kind of lit. No way, Gumiho's going to break through. Oh, man, I thought this was enough to defend it, but charge is going to finish tragically just a few seconds late. Oh, this is one of those things, man. Like, I look at games like this and I'm like, this is why I gamble in this matchup as a Protoss player. I'm just like, I'm just going to rush charge. And if they attack like 30 seconds, 40 seconds before charge is done, I just give up my third. I can't defend this. I lost the dice roll. But fighting with unupgraded gateway units is so awkward. He loses 10 probes, multiple Phoenix, multiple Stalkers. Oh man, 1,000 resources down. I mean, at least the medevac does die. But of course, there's a third command center finishing for Gumiho. He's got Stim, 5 barracks on the way, and you are stuck on a bit of a janky setup. Now, to be fair, 5 gates are coming in, which means you're going to have 8 gate charge, and Stim's not done. There is an all-in counterattack here, but the thing is, you need to have already built a pylon up here. If you're building a gateway here for fast warp-ins right now, you warp in 2 rounds of Zealots, you hit, at what, 7.5, 8.5 minutes, something like, maybe, let's say 8 minutes, with 16 charge lots and like 8 Stalkers and a few Phoenix to pick off either the Raven or disable the tanks. That could be super deadly, especially Gumiho's moving out to take his third, which is insane. Because this is a very great... Gumiho traded so well that he thinks he can just move out right now. You are crazy. Dude, if NightMare went all in on 3 base, he wins the game right now. Moving your tanks out here pre-stim, what do you got? A handful of Marines. Charge would ruin him. But I think because he saw so many Stalkers, he's not even thinking about charge being part of what NightMare has. And he's kind of lucky that Gumiho's going for a forge, NightMare's going for a forge and a 4th base. Because if NightMare was committing to the 8-gate counterattack, I think he would have crushed it. Now, to be critical of NightMare, guys, he cut probes to build 8 gateways, but then he didn't go for an attack with it, which means, well, if you're already behind, now you're further behind. He's also not probing right now. So I feel like NightMare is playing a kind of reactive Mass Zealot style, and I think Mass Zealot, you always need to be the playmaker. You can't be sitting back and defending because you have very strict situations where you are good with Zealots and about 1,000 situations where Mass Zealot's bad or falls off pretty hard. Now he moves forward right now. He's going to go for the ambush. No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. I wouldn't have minded it. +1 wasn't done. Stalker's going to pull away. He's got to watch out for the anti-armor missile. He's going to go for it. He's got to go for it now. He's got to jump on the tanks. If he can get rid of the tanks, maybe. The army sees him, though. Oh, no. NightMare. NightMare gets his whole army. Anti-armor missile. They're orange. They've been covered in Dorito dust. This is brutal, man. Biotank moving around. The Phoenix floating around the left side of the map as well. Observer is there. We've got a bunch of Zealots here. 8 Zealots rotating around. Phoenix going to pull to the left. Fire is going to move up that left side. Hello. Hello, hello. Gumiho just going to look to push. 29 Zealots, 2 Phoenix, 2 Archons. I often see NightMare try to play Mass Zealot styles in this matchup, but he's almost always doing it from behind, and it really doesn't make Mass Zealot look very good when the Terran just catches you with such a good timing at the start. 4 Marauder drop. Going to go snipe some tech with that, or at least try to. And look at this position. So hard to fight around this area on this map, so he's going to have to send a lot of Zealots for a counterattack. Raven in the back door says, lol, 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 lol. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior auto turret harass? Raven's up on 6 kills. Marauders in the bottom right, going to come in, focus down a couple of probes before picking up and boosting back to the army, realizing, hey, none of this shoots up. Zealots on the left do find the 4th base the moment it starts. That's a very good catch. Now, you guys might be wondering, where are the ghosts, Gumiho? Remember, guys, that thing I did for like 5 years of my Terran career, never building ghosts? Gumiho still believes in it. I still believe in it as well, to be fair. He has so much bio. It falls off hard against Archon Storm because he doesn't have EMP, but that Archon Storm is not really ready. 2 Archons ain't going to be the playmaker, not in this scenario. The Widow Mines wreck that front line of Zealots. There's so many more Zealots behind it, though, and Zealots coming in. in the rear with the gear. Oh, if he got a full surround so the ByuN wasn't able to escape, that would have been a game changer. But the moment the ByuN escapes in a ball like this, it really does feel like the Zealots can't quite keep up with it. Whoa, it's equal upgrades, +1 attack versus +1 attack. Gumiho spreading, cleaning up the Archons will be massive. If he gets rid of the Stalkers, that'd be huge. The Phoenix goes down, and that is going to be that. The Zealots really need the proper surrounding engagement. The moment the ByuN breaks free, all the Zealots get stuck behind each other, and the weakness of melee units gets exposed. Very nicely done by Gumiho. To be fair, he was ahead all game long. Now, what's interesting is no armor upgrades for NightMare. When you play Mass Zealot, armor upgrades are far superior to attack upgrades, is generally considered the norm. But he's just going attack upgrades. So he's going for the more expensive, slower upgrade rather than the better upgrade. I disagree with that. I think that doesn't make any sense. For a Mass Zealot style, I think armor's, if not the best upgrade, definitely better than the +2 attack. You should go 1-1 if you prefer attack. You know, +1 attack, then +1 armor. But I know a lot of players who go +2 or even +3 armor before adding a single attack upgrade. And that's a very solid way of doing it. Here we go. High Templar going to try and drop. Where's the Storm? Oh, the Storms came down a little slow. Good Storm on that left side. But a big pack of the ByuN escapes. The Widow Mines cleanse the front line. And this is just a overwhelming force. Gumiho's too far ahead, man. His aggression was great. And we see that NightMare with a very passive kind of Phoenix Adept Stalker opening. I thought he'd handled things pretty well. But funnily enough, just not able to defend there. Even with, like, was it 6 or 8 Stalkers, 3 Adepts, a couple of Phoenix. Not good enough against that ByuN. This way you got to tech up to either Immortals, or I guess you got to get that charge up faster. Alright, he's up a game. He's looking good today in his TVP. Just real dedicated forward aggression. That felt very Clem style, didn't it? Obviously, I mean, towards the end, sure, felt like Gumiho, but that early push felt like Clem. Just, I have a bunch of units in your face. Maybe Clem would have been a bit more in and out and throwing units away for free if it's not going well, and crushing if it is going well, but I like the way Gumiho didn't throw any units away. I think it was really good. And the Phoenix and the Gateway unit, that 3-gate Phoenix defense is really good at shutting down 1 Cyclone, 1 Viking, 8 Marines, you know? Maybe even 2 Cyclones, but Gumiho was like, I have 3 Cyclones, 2 Vikings, you know, a ton of Marines, a Medevac. Like, he had such a good mix of units and just so many of them. There is a point where the firepower spirals out of control. It's very difficult for the Phoenix to do much in those engagements. Probe scouts around the natural here for NightMare, checking to make sure he's not getting proxy gated. It is a double gas opening yet again. So we're going to see if NightMare favors the same sort of response against this. To be fair, I don't think he's going to scout. He's looking for proxies, but he's not looking anywhere else. So it feels to me like NightMare is just like, no, I'm just going to scout for proxies and not scout your base this game. And that's fair enough. Like, it's a bit of a gamble, but if you really sense, like, I think he's going to proxy, it's Gumiho. He's known for proxying. Known for building those things out on the map. Cybercore goes down as well. Nexus is about to come up in the natural. Gumiho, of course, did not scout at all. This is the first time... No, I was about to say the first time he's moving down his ramp, but he's still not moving down his ramp. His Reaper leaving will be the first time he moves out of his base. Second pylon on the natural. Now, why is he long-distance mining minerals here, guys? So inefficient. So much better if you just stack those on this patch and this patch, but this is the modern lazy pro player, guys. I normally love to talk up StarCraft pros. When it comes to stacking workers on gas and minerals and optimizing their early mining, they're so lazy lately. It's insane. I hate that. I've talked to the pros about it as well, and I saw a few guys started triple stacking the workers the other day, and it made me really happy. It's not a Korean thing. It's not a Protoss thing, guys. There's people in chat going, Koreans will do this. Protoss will do this. No, it's just everyone that's not Lambo. Lambo and Serral, only guys that really have the attention to detail. I don't know if there's anyone else, right? Probably Showtime. There's like a couple of Europeans who are super sticklers for efficiency. The Germans and not many else. Not many can match the German efficiency, you know? It makes them very uncomfortable when they do things suboptimally. Why would I do this? I'm a pro player anyway. I'm not a 5.2k Protoss. You guys can try to figure out who I'm imitating there. Really mysterious. Anyways, I do love all these guys. Hellion Reaper's gonna come in for Gumiho, the Adept Stalker hanging out. It's only a few minerals difference. It doesn't make a big difference, that long distance probing, really. It's just funny that a few years ago nobody did this. They all did it the correct way, and it's like they've forgotten. I don't know. I think one player who won a tournament or a few players started doing it. Everyone went, that must be good. Sometimes StarCraft players are a little bit like sheep. They just copy whoever's better than them without understanding the why. Usually not. Usually they're smarter than that, but occasionally. We won't fact check something. Whoa! Whee! That was fun. Anyways, we'll stop being negative Nancy's about people being suboptimal players here. I'll take off my Lambo cap. Fourth gateway, right, guys? Is that fourth? Yeah. 4-gate blink coming out up against what is going to be a lovely little tank marine drop. Hello. Oh, tank marine drop. That's a cute move. And he's going extra tanks and marines behind it. Starport on a tech lab. Looks like he wants to build a second barracks now. Gumiho doesn't have any bunkers started, but normally it's about 4 minutes 30 when you start building bunkers to be safe against 4-gate blink. And as long as he builds a third siege tank, I think he should be completely fine. Problem is if you lose this drop. That's what he's doing. Hello. Adept comes in the front. We'll take out a marine. Yeah, this is super worth. Just pick off the pylon, maybe get the cybercore as well. Looks like the Adept managed to get an SCV. The Reaper has died, but nothing else. It was that Reaper from earlier. So no SCVs killed by the Adept. Here we go. Oh, I don't think that tank is focused. That tank is focus fired on the cybercore, guys. Gumiho has literally clicked on the cybercore. Wow. I think the Stalkers realized at a certain point there, NightMare was like, wait a second, he's actually not targeting. Like, that tank is not changing targets to my other units. Good surround. Did he lose any probes? He didn't lose any probes. Oh, wow. That was awesome. Really well done there by NightMare. So NightMare defends successfully. He's on 4 gas. Cybercore is only now rebuilding. That's pretty slow. And Gumiho is like, cool, I've got 2 tanks, third one building, lots of marines. Third command center goes down. This is looking pretty good for Gumiho, not going to lie. That being said, charge and a Templar Archives and a third base. Charge lots plus storm. We know that does well versus marine tank. Now notice that patrol path as always, guys. We were talking about this earlier today in a different series I was casting about how you want to give your opponent a little visual indicator on their minimap. So notice if you're here, look at the minimap. This is on NightMare's vision. This red dot just keeps appearing and disappearing. So it's going to be very hard to immediately recognize the movement when your opponent's microing there, because there's been movement there for the last 5 minutes, right? Whenever he chooses to use that, that's going to be an issue. NightMare is a Korean player. NightMare was the guy who first used the Blink Dark Templar charge lot all-in a PVT on Overgrowth during the Dream Pool map pool of Legacy of the Void. He blinked his Dark Templar behind the enemy bio so they couldn't escape. They moved outside the natural. The DTs blinked behind. The Zealots charged from the front. And the Marine Marauder was trying to get clicked back, and it was just, like, stuck. And I've never seen a Terran army disappear quicker. It was a very fun all-in, very funky. But it is what it is. High Templar gathering at the front of the battery as well. Marine's going to go out that left side. I feel like NightMare's PVT's come into his own recently. I like that he's playing Storm Drop here. I think Storm Drop doesn't get enough love from like max packs, I guess. I think mixing that Storm Drop in is just such a good play. Oh, hello. If NightMare just sends 1 Stalker here, he gets a guaranteed kill. Oh, that'll work. 3 Marines in the medevac say goodnight. Observer sees a big bio tank push out. First 2 medevacs about to pop. Third command center coming. This is actually not that scary an army. He's already got 8-gate charge and 4 High Templar. Gumiho has no business being on this map right now, guys. Gumiho, I don't mind him like fake pushing out. I definitely don't mind if he kills the Observer, but with that Observer watching him, he's got to get rid of that Observer. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Does he not have energy? Guys, he's had energy for a while. Why is he not scanning? He kept moving like right next to the Observer. I could have sworn he saw it. Oh, God. Oh, he's about to get jumped. The Zealots can run in the natural. Then the army stims back into the storms. This is going to be devastating. The Marine doesn't quite see that prism. That prism's just out of vision. Look at this. The Zealots go. The Stalkers jump in. Gumiho picks up his Marauder, saves them. But what are you going to do? Fly into the Storm Drop? This is terrible right now. Gumiho's in trouble. One of the Stalkers does get picked off. The Zealots are doing great. Storm the SCVs. Storm the SCVs. It's worth. Oh, the SCV split was good. The bio actually, I think, focused down potentially one of the High Templar. There's still 1 Storm in the mix. 13 SCVs go down. A lot of Marine Marauder dies as well. That was definitely a very high value fight for NightMare. He loses, what, 13 Zealots, but he kills a bunch of Marine Marauder, a bunch of SCVs. Yeah, that's a very good trade for him. Now, Raven did come in and kill 3 probes. It's hiding down the bottom. That High Templar on the right side is ready to feedback it if he goes in again. The Observer has been sieging and unsieging on his face for the last 2 minutes. Finally, Gumiho notices and does actually take it out. Now, Gumiho built a lot of tanks this game, but he swapped off to Reacted Widowmine now. And that's going to be a little more effective here. I actually think his tanks should be on the high ground. He should be in survival mode. He's just going to die to this next push. If the Zealots, especially if some Zealots come from the left and they jump on the tanks, Storm will force the Bio back. I mean, this is going to be a deadly push. NightMare's going for it. Mass Zealot Stalker from 2 sides. Hey, Gumiho, his tanks are in the open. He should have been putting them back on the high ground, but he did not respect NightMare in this scenario. Gumiho caught with his pants around his ankles, and you know NightMare has no qualms about that. Some people say, oh, it's not honorable. NightMare's like, honorable? What are you talking about? This is war, mate. If I catch you in the middle of a latrine run, I will absolutely leave you dead in your own defecation. NightMare ties up the series 1-1. All right. NightMare did win that last one, but Gumiho is going to try and fight back now with a 1 Rax expand. No, double gas again. 3 games in a row. Hot diddly damn. NightMare in the top right side as well. Now, we were just answering a little mystery. I finished that last game. In Twitch chat, someone said GG boob in response to that last game. And we were trying to figure out, number 1, what does that even mean? Number 2, are they a Protoss fan for NightMare, or were they upset watching Gumiho lose after that last game? I surmise that boob is usually a positive word. Almost always, let's be real. It's literally where nourishment comes from when you first come into this world. It's a fantastic place. One of the greatest objects known to man. The boob. So I was like, it's a Protoss fan, excited for NightMare crushing that game. Scam Watcher says, yep, I was squeezing my own man boobs in excitement while watching. Okay, good to know. Twitch chat started weird, they stayed weird. It's been 14 years, and we're still hanging out being weirdos together. I love it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate that. Glad to know that there's, some people cheer, they splash beer on the ground. Some people shout obscenities from the sideline of their favorite sporting event. Starcraft fans sit at home rocking back and forwards in their chairs, clutching their boobs. Nice. I like it. I'll let Gumiho know. Gumiho is actually a beast. He shares replays with me anytime I ask him, usually within a few hours, guys. So I'll be sure to let him know, hey, people loved watching your games, but unfortunately, they weren't quite clutching their boobs. They preferred when NightMare wins, not you. So I'm sure he'll be very confused as he runs that through Google Translate, and I'm sure it'll lead to a very interesting series of interactions through Discord. Hey, nice grenade from Gumi. Zealot's trying to use the sight blocker. I'll show you guys what this looks like from Gumiho's vision. See, the sight blocker there was kind of blocking him. So the Zealot there just keeps the Reaper occupied until the Adept arrives. Now there's 2 Reapers. 2 Reapers can beat an Adept if you're Clem. Let's see how close to Clem Gumiho's Reaper micro is. Technically, they outrange the Adept by 1. Adept pulls back after losing its shields, of course. Stalker's out as well, and it's going to be a 2-gate Twilight Blink opening. Very standard play this time for NightMare. He's not going to be going straight for the Phoenix. He's not going to be kind of changing things up at all. Starport. 3rd gas! Ladies and gentlemen, what are we looking at? Is it a Battlecruiser build? What is he doing? Gumiho has something very special cooking right now as he goes straight for a 3rd gas. I think it might be a Battlecruiser build. I don't know what else you go for gas this early for. Some form of weird mech follow-up perhaps after that. Reaper trying to pull back. Stalker's chasing after him. Tank is already building, so he's going to go tank medevac marine opening. I guess it... Yeah. This is so interesting. No one plays quick 3 gas versus Protoss, guys. Because normally... I mean, this does allow you to build the medevac and the tank straight away. It's just so committed. Did he do this last game? Did he do this with the tank drop in the previous game? I'm not sure if he did or not. I don't think so. I feel like that slows down your barracks and whatnot so much. This is a TBT. It's very common because you're going Raven and tank production non-stop. But normally in this matchup, you cut that unit production. But he's like, no, I want to build tanks and Ravens, which I guess is what he did in the other game. Robo's on the way. 3rd gateway is building as well. Looks like he's getting ready to take a 3rd base as NightMare. Here comes the push. Oh, Oh, he tries to hide it. The Cyclone and the Reapers will pick off that Adept. The tank is over on the right side. Oh, he's going to siege behind the gold minerals. Hello. Oh, the Cyclone's going to go down. Or is it? I think it'll barely escape. Yep, looks like it does. Tank and Marines over here will take out the pylon. He doesn't really reach anything else with this pressure, though. So this is very much like a I'm going to be annoying pressure. It doesn't really do massive direct damage or anything, does it? Zealot sees him pull back. Third Nexus on the way for Protoss. Raven's on the way for Terran. And indeed, yeah, he's just building a second tank directly into a third tank. So I think honestly, this is just Gumiho making a faster gas adjustment to the build so that he can build 3 tanks to be safe against blink pressure. Because he's like, look, if I go across the map with a tank drop, I'm very vulnerable to like 4-gate blink, so I need to have something here to help me defend. Now we've got the Observer coming forward. Stalkers are getting ready to blink in the main. That stim looks very exposed. There's a bunker coming up on the natural. This drop over here as well. NightMare's leaving nothing at home right now. He's warping in more and more Stalkers at home. Observer does come forward. He sees the Raven. He's thinking about blinking on that tank. I think it's worth. Honestly, especially if you spread one Stalker in front, let it take the tank shot, blink the other 5 Stalkers. You can 2-shot the tank with 6 Stalkers and then get on out of there. He's going to blink around the left. Oh, hello. Okay, maybe being too fancy as NightMare. I think he might be too fancy, guys. Because he's wasting a lot of time when he could be doing damage. He's going to get an SCV. Engineering Bay could get denied as well. Nice cancel. Oh, Gumiho goes back to mining way too quickly. Loses 4 workers. Oh, not quite. 4 workers do go down. Could have lost 2 more, though. Both deep in the red. Marine tank counterattack coming in. Oh, hello. NightMare making a bit of a doo-doo here. Stalkers on the other side are still there. The 2 tanks are in range, though. You're going to get punished if you keep going forward. Does get another SCV or 2. 6 SCVs in total for 3 probes. 3 Stalkers in the main should be enough to defend. Thinks about dropping on top, but realizes NightMare has 2 more Stalkers backing up the one that he could see. Storms on the way, as well as charge. Now, Gumiho should be prepared for that this time by leaving his tanks on the high ground, or just committing really hard to a 2-base push, because he doesn't have a 3rd command center, guys. He doesn't even have an add-on on this 3rd barracks. What in the heck? Dude, he's still building tanks. He's building a 6th siege tank. Gumiho is all in on 2-base. Where are the High Templar? There's 3 High Templar. They don't quite have Storm yet. If he hits pre-Storm, he could do this. But once Storm is done, Gumiho's army looks kind of like wet garbage. It doesn't look very fantastic. It's going to be like throwing spaghetti at someone who's trying to stab you with a machete. And as much as machete and spaghetti rhyme, that doesn't mean that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, guys. Spaghetti does not beat the machete. The Stalker Zealot coming in right now. Medevacs are taking damage. Dude, he's completely out of position. This army just caught NightMare with his pants down, not realizing that army was getting so deep. The Zealot Stalker's going to come from behind. The Zealots will take out a tank. 2 tanks do go down, but the tank shots on the Stalkers wreck them. Zealots try to come in from that side. He needs the Storm. He's got Storm, but how does he get in range now? Problem is he's already lost all of his Zealots. Letting Gumiho siege this far forward is disastrous. He hit pre-combat shields, pre-+1. Storm does land on some of these units. It takes out all the Marines supporting the tanks, which is pretty good, but he's already lost 9 probes behind it. Looks like a few Zealots going for the counterattack. If NightMare saw this coming, I actually think he could have held this. I think he could have dealt with this okay. He's panic, accidentally queued up Resonating Glaives behind this. That is 100% a mistake, as the Stalker Archon do deal with those Marines. But Raven's hidden in the back door. And he is actually still up 2 workers. 3rd command center has just started. NightMare might be able to come back from this. This is going to be tough, dude. Remember, when you open with that fast 3rd gas, your extra barracks come in quite a lot slower. Combat shields and +1 are only now finishing at past 8 minutes. 3rd command center is not quite done. He doesn't have that much stuff in general. He's got a tank on the high ground. Stalkers will be able to pick off the SCV. And just picking off the SCV is huge. Oh, I like this. He's like, oh, you're going to run out the front to defend me? Lol, 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 lol. And, he's going to have to recall, though. Does he have recall? I'm not sure if he has recall available, guys. He's going to try and blink back to the low ground. Oh, no! The Marauders are just out of vision. He thought they chased the Zealots a little bit further. If the Zealots came in at the same time, that might have been okay. But NightMare now needs to put it back in his pants. Raven does come out. Looks like he's going to go for a little auto turret. Does cancel that. And F2's at home. Never mind. He sends it back. Yeah, that was a misclick. That was an F2. Only gets 1 probe there. Good defense by NightMare. NightMare's on 61 workers. 6 High Templar. His Prism coming out is huge. Being able to Storm Drop is going to be massive at speeding up those High Templar, getting them in the positions they need to be at the right time. Gumiho's 3rd is going to be fully saturated straight away, but that's because his main is already half mined out. Weapons upgrades. Oh no, Resonating Glaives finished for Protoss. That's a waste of 100 minerals and 100 gas. Accidental upgrade, never what you want. That being said, he's got a good army. The question is, he hasn't opened up his minerals on either side, which is crazy. He needs a 4th and 5th base. And he needs forges as well. And then eventually Robo Bay transitions. Gumiho! Psycho! Gumiho! Oh my god, the Raven sees the Zealot army. Dude, you gotta turn around. Are you just gonna base trade? Gumiho, the Mad Dog, is base trading! But even though the Protoss army's already on top of him, this is an insane move. Except, you know what? NightMare doesn't realize it's a base trade, does he? Maybe he realizes. Looks like he might realize the quintuple drop going across the map. The Zealot's not even going to be able to kill that 4th command center. This game just got weird. He's chasing the Raven with his entire army. 4th Nexus gets cancelled. At least he sees where this drop's coming from. But he hasn't opened up the minerals on the other side, which is a bit of a bummer. High Templar on that right side with a good feedback could shut that Raven out, at least for a while. Bit depots going down. 2nd eBay Armory. 4th command center building. It feels like Gumiho is doing the most desperate doom drops of all time. But NightMare's kind of frozen on 3 base 60 probes. And with his 4th being cancelled, he feels more stuck than ever on this low economy. So it's like Gumiho's kind of like, I don't know, I'm doing some stuff. Pick up whole army, drop across map, hope it works, I guess. The NightMare's like, I'm on 3 base. I don't know what I'm doing either, man. Double Forge and a Robo Bay do go down. It's been a weird, messy early game, and it's created a very odd game state. Looks like Gumiho does just go. I'm glad to see he doesn't just try to force that. He slows down, chills it out. It looks like there was not vomit on his sweater already, despite Mum Spaghetti. The storm coming down. Oh my god. Oh my god. That got really weird really quick. Dude, that works out. That works out for Gumiho. Because Gumiho gets the Observer, gets rid of a bunch of High Templar and Storms, and his army gets damaged, but he doesn't really lose much because it was mostly Marauders and Medevacs that can absorb a bit of storm damage. That was cool. Dude, that actually worked out so well. Oh, damn, man. The F2 Raven rejoins the army here. It's been a chaotic game. It's a sort of game where chaotic F2ing is going to happen a heck of a lot. Very standard. I know I do the exact same thing in my games. I haven't really found a better system when the game's this kind of crazy. High Templar there. Feedback could be good on the Raven. Storm's probably more important, though, to be fair. Oh, the High Templar don't quite have Storm. If he had Storm, this would be huge. He does feedback the Raven, but that means he's got no Storm on that right flank. It's only the Prism right now. Oh, man, 1 or 2 good Storms, even on the Medevacs, could get them very low. Widow Mines come in and boom, boom. 2 more Widow Mines going towards the main base here as well. At the same time, in the middle of the map, Stalker does bait out a little Widow Mine shot. Another one does land only on a single Zealot. Widow Mines going down into the main as well. Nicely done here by Gumiho, keeping up the activity level behind it. +2 weapons is on the way. +1 armor is almost done. He's going to find that Observer on the left side. He's got so few Marines. It's kind of crazy. I think he must have 4 tech labs, right? 1, 2, 3. Actually, he's got 2 reactors. He's just not really queuing the Marines very much. Notice he's only tapping the Marine key a little bit. He's mostly building Marauders, Widow Mines, SCVs, ship weapons upgrades, and a few more barracks are going to go down in the main base. Colossus are now out. Cannons in each base. NightMare's economy might not be that big, but his tech's getting pretty nice. He's kind of keeping up pace with the upgrades with Gumi. Oh, is he in position, though? Storms? Oh, the Marines running forward is slick, and that second Storm gets almost completely evaded. 2 High Templar and a Nexus. That's what we talk about when we talk about big gains. Oh, Gumiho luckily scans and does not get caught by those Blink Stalker Colossus. That could have been very bad. Mass Zealot Archon coming over here. Feel like Zealots do pretty well against this number of Marauders. Marauders aren't that great at killing Zealots. They don't get their bonus to Armored. +1 armor is about to finish. If NightMare can start +2 armor straight away, start to catch up and even overtake on those, it would be massive. Only 1 Robo is out. There's a single Colossus, no Viagra. +2 armor is on the way now as well. 2 more command centers building for Gumiho. He does only have 1 starport, but expect this factory to lift off any moment now. He'll build 2 tech labs on the barracks. He'll lift the factory, build a starport there. Or actually, he's just building in the back of the main. Fusion Core, 2nd starport goes down now. Ghosts are coming out. Gumiho's going to a proper late game army. And it's NightMare who finds himself down on income, not really prepared for the late game, and looking a little bit too static. He needs to play fast and loose. NightMare can't turtle up. Because Gumiho is preparing for the late game. Like, you need to go do something, whether that's build 10, 15 probes and just get out on the map and start storming everywhere and running Zealots in. Or teching up. Maybe go Skytoss from here. I don't know. Whatever you prefer, NightMare. But he's got to make a play. And right now, he's not doing it. Actually, I think he's getting ready for it. Breaking those rocks. He's almost maxed. He's not adding any probes. He's building a 2nd Robo and a Colossus. But there's already Lib range going to be on the way soon. So I think that's a bit too late to be going for Colossus. We are past the Colossus stage of the game. High Templar Stormies. Oh, big storms on the left side. Big storms on those units, but doesn't really kill that much, just damages a lot of them. Looks like a High Templar on the right side is very low on energy. Leaving a few High Templars scattered around the map is going to be absolutely massive for NightMare in this game. +2 ship weapons and Lib Rangers on the way. The second starport has its reactor up. Liberators will be coming out after the next fight. Right now, Gumiho's max, so he needs to clear out supply. Stargate goes down for NightMare, and we have got ourselves an interesting matchup. Both going for 3-2 on the ground upgrades, +2 ship weapons is on the way for Gumiho. If there's going to be a carrier transition, we do need to see Cybercore upgrades for NightMare. But he's only on 66 workers. That's kind of the weak spot of NightMare, is he's on a mass Zealot army and a low economy. So it's an inefficient army on a low economy. Once you get to maxed out against Ghost Bio Range Lib, Protoss wants to have a much better force than this, but NightMare doesn't have that. He has no luxuries in this game. It's all about necessities and nothing else. And he's just been trying to hang on and survive, and it's hard to recover from that position. Stalker's blinking forward, taking out Ghosts. EMP lands on the Prism. Just 2 High Templar in here with Storms protecting him. Zoning Storm is a little slow. NightMare's been a little bit slow on those Storm drops today. It's 3-3 upgrades on both sides. Dude, mass command center. What the hell? 4 orbitals? 2 more making. So he's going to 6 orbitals with 2 more command centers building. Gumiho's getting prepared for a proper late game. The Observer spotting this army coming is useful. Widowmine does take out a Stalker. Marauder's trying to kite backwards. Let these Zealots get worn down away from the Stalker Colossus if possible. Focuses down one of those Stalkers that blinks a bit too deep into his territory. Marauder stutter steps nice. On the left side, the Zealot Stalker over there trying to hang out as well. Oh, we got to be careful here as Mr. NightMare. Now, I think NightMare should have kept chasing, because one good storm plus a blink forward and start focusing the medevacs could be huge. Gumiho has 12 medevacs. I think you'd probably be right to say that might be too many. And his own buildings are creating a little bit of a maze for his army to move through. Sensor Tower. +2 ship weapons is done, as is Lib Range. Observers everywhere, seeing everything. NightMare has the info. It's just what tools does he have to do with that? 2 Colossus, no extended thermal lance, no Sky Toss. He's looking for a flank. He just wants to go for a big engage. He's just going to shove it. Good storm on the left. Great storms on the left. But is that enough on its own? I don't know, man. I feel like he doesn't want to fight with this army on the left on its own. He wants to go with the army on the right into the ground army, land the storms and Colossus in the bio, and then just kind of clean up. That is easier said than done. NightMare, the Wizard of Storm. Let's see if he can bring it out once again. He's done this versus Clem multiple times with turrets here as well. Oh, he can't get in range. The turrets are just so good. Tank in the back is shooting his High Templar. He does go forward and gets a few Storms, but only on a few Marauders. He's got to go right now. Coming in from the right and the left. The Libs are doing excellent. Dude, those Libs are doing really well. Double Storm on the Libs. Maybe a little bit of overkill there. Oh, those 2 Libs on the right taking out one of the Colossi. The other Colossus does take a bit of damage. A Zoning Storm goes down again, but that means that one of the Libs survives. A lot of the Protoss does go down, and that is going to be a good enough fight for Gumiho so far. Just cleaning house. 8,000 resources lost ahead in the units lost. And he's on 4 Libs going to 8. Lots of Marine Marauder. 3-2 upgrades against about to be 3-3, but NightMare's army is still incredibly basic. Stalker Zealot Colossus coming forward. Oh, nice storms! It's the first really nice storms we've seen in a little bit. It feels like NightMare needs to have the numbers to really be properly engaging, but he's just been behind for so long that he doesn't quite have the oomph to overwhelm along with these storms, man. Lib sieging the base, taking out some probes. Extra command centers going down in the bottom right now. There is 7 orbitals behind this. A massive amount of economy. And that first fight really needed to go well for NightMare, because like I said, he was on 66 probes the whole time while Gumiho built a gigantic endgame economy. So Gumiho is sitting in the endgame right now, playing with all of the different tools in the Terran arsenal. NightMare's stuck in the mid-game. He's just kind of like, oh, I have some Storm, I have some Colossus, I have a 5th and a 6th base kind of started, but he's never had beyond 3 base of workers. And he's just kind of stuck here. As the ghost count grows as well, it's kind of like, do I really want to make Archons? You kind of have to with this gas count, but what are you going to do? Archons are going to get blitzed by Libs and EMPs. Ain't many good choices left for NightMare in this game. Does at least defend that base on the left with the cannon. And it does feel like Gumiho was just a bit more prepared for the late game, whereas NightMare got stuck in the mid game for way too long. Gumiho just branching forward, kiting into libs. And these Archons that he's morphed in, man, look how much they just big chunks go missing every time that Concord cannon lands. Another lib comes in on the left side. Stalkers do get warped in to deal with it, but NightMare's on 48 probes against 62. Gumiho with 7 orbitals massing mules. His income more than double the minerals a minute. And Gumiho just wants to trade. Any trade's a good trade for a Terran that's this rich. He EMPs and blasts the Archon High Templar Stalker to Kingdom Come. It is not even close. Not against that much bio with a couple of gateway units. High Templar Prism gets shot down on the right side. Colossus are coming in from the bottom right as well. NightMare's very good at just hanging in and surviving, but Gumiho got himself to a later stage of the game where NightMare could not keep up. GG, well played, Gumiho. All right. Going into the other semi-final, we've got ByuN down here in the bottom right side of the map. The Terran Beast up against herO in the top left. It's going to be, of course, Shopify Rebellion for ByuN, Dragon Kaiser Gaming for herO. And we're going to start on Site Delta. Now, this is a map, honestly, I haven't looked at the win rates for TVP in this one in a while. I feel like it's pretty darn even, but I could be wrong on that. We see it almost every TVP series. Recently, ByuN's been mixing in some 3-Raxes on this map, Actually, to be fair, I just feel like he's got so much range as a player lately, right? Because you never know when ByuN's just going to rally Cyclones out across a Stargate opening if he sniffs that out. Build a 3rd command center in the corner. It's probably one of the ones we've seen very popular on this map. But I think that's part of why, like, Sentry first or Sentry right after the Adept has become very popular for Protoss as well. So, not something that herO's is likely to do, like Stats, Trap, now that he's back, and Estrella. Those are very, like, defensive, kind of strategic, scouting-oriented Protoss players. herO is more of a, I'm just going to YOLO an Oracle, I'm going to YOLO 4-Gate Blink, or I'm just going to do a greedy expand. You never know which one I'm going to do, and I'm happy to roll the dice. And I think I really like that. For me personally, I feel like a bit of educated gambling is actually a very good way to play StarCraft. I've always said that trying to be safe against everything is actually sort of a trap that you can fall into, where you end up being too afraid to take a 2% risk. And if you're always afraid to take even small risks, you inevitably are always falling behind in StarCraft. And, you know, your opponents basically can just play greedy against you and get way ahead every game. Whereas if you're willing to take some risks, both by pushing your economy a bit harder than normal, but also attacking a bit harder than normal, you can get big payoffs. And that's why you should always take some risks. Now, herO, on the other hand, doesn't just take risks. You guys hear the way I talk about herO's games. herO YOLOs, right? He takes big risks pretty much every single game. This one was a bit more straightforward. He went for a probe scout, he sees the command center on the high ground, and he goes Cybercore before Nexus. So it's actually a pretty safe opening. You know, because there is so much Marine first, I do feel the one thing a lot of Protoss players are maybe missing, you could argue, especially maps like this where you can wall off the Reaper Ledge, there's only one way in. I really feel like Nexus before Core, you know, just could get mixed in there a little bit more. And I'll keep talking about that a lot. I know Stats has been mixing it in, and that's made me pretty happy. Estrella sometimes mixes it in. Harstem's always been very good at figuring out when he can squeeze that into his build orders. I think Harstem's really actually good to study for me in PvT, because he can't let himself fall way behind in the early game and then clutch it back the way a guy like herO can, right? Like, you guys know how, like, herO makes crazy comebacks all the time with just insane micro and just his on-the-fly figuring out what to do in each situation. I don't know. I feel like Harstem can't get away with that, and his openings are really, really good. So he's always someone I look to in PvT. I actually also think his late game disruptor gateway usage is so very good. He just struggles a little bit to keep up with guys like Clem, who have twice the APM and micro of literally every other pro gamer. Anyways, Adept is going to pull back there. The reactor takes a bit of damage. The Marines show themselves. This is a quick Cloaked Banshee. Man, Cloaked Banshee is such it's a sharp edges build. So let me explain the Cloaked Banshee for those who don't know. Basically, the Cloaked Banshee, it's very hard to deal with for the Protoss if they don't see it coming. If, though, they happen to have gone, say, Oracle Phoenix, shuts it down the most, because Phoenix can outrun it, there's no hiding in the dead space, Oracles can tag it. Observer's also pretty good against it, but, like, if an Observer gets across the map as the Banshee is flying in with Cloak, second Banshee's already maybe a little bit across the map, you can kill 10, 15 probes, it's super duper worth it. It's just, if it gets completely spotted and shut down, that's where it doesn't do so well. So Hallucination or an Oracle or Phoenix opening is usually best against this. This is not any of those. So even though there's a robo and there's an observer, he's rallying the observer home. He knows exactly what it is. herO knows ByuN's build. He goes, it's a 1-Rex expand, but you haven't shown me a Cyclone yet. You've hidden your buildings. Normally, you're not very good at hiding your buildings. Dude, I think he's got a complete read on what's happening. Look at the way his observer's looking for this Banshee right now. So this just shows herO studied his opponent, and he kind of knows what ByuN likes to do. And look at that. Already tracking it with the observer. Blink's done. That's a dead Banshee. Oh, is it though? Maybe not quite. Nope, it's dead. That is a complete shutdown. Terrible opening here for ByuN. This is really bad for him. And he's like, what? How did you know? And herO's like, oh, mate, you never open like this. Like, this is one of these things where you don't actually see. So if you're playing a game against someone you don't know on the ladder, you see this. There's no way you read into this that there's a Banshee, right? You're just like, well, what? There's no actual tell. But he probably has been studying ByuN recently. And remember that ByuN is kind of predictable in terms of his rotation of builds. These guys play so many online tournaments. And whilst herO's builds sometimes are a hot mess, they're entirely unpredictable because of that. ByuN, on the other hand, his builds are much more optimized. And they kind of need to be. Terran's not the most flexible race. You really need to optimize the build orders with all the add-on swaps and the way everything kind of unravels. But look at that. Observer sees him coming. Easy unburrow there, or unsiege, whatever you want to call that on the observer. Stalkers are coming north. Now, ByuN just uses that to scout the third and fly away. He's going to hide in the dead space. That is the correct call. He's got a third command center. Double engineering bays on the way. He's building lots of bio. So I think he's in a, it's a playable spot. It just kind of sucks because herO gets to do whatever he wants. The thing is, will herO actually keep up his probing? Will he actually take a quick fourth base, which is normally what you'd want to do here against a guy like this. Now, he never saw the third command center. Remember, this is the first command center that he saw before it floated down. He's had no scouting. So finally getting an observer across, you might be thinking, why did that take so long? Well, the reason, guys, is he has 2 observers on anti-Banshee defense. He's making sure he takes no damage. Now he sees a bunch of Marine tank. He'd like to see that third command center in the back. Can he surmise that that is what's happening? He's going to go for it, yeah. He's like, I need to confirm. So seeing the third command center, he's going to feel like he's got some pretty good info there. If he sees the double engineering bay in the top right, that would also be even better, because then you know that it's like, oh, okay, this guy's going to really just commit to the long game. Maybe he doesn't make an armory, but it's pretty unlikely. Usually if they go double engineering bay, they're not going to do a seriously committed push until at least 10 minutes, which means you have time to take your fourth and probe up, which, by the way, herO's only up 5 workers. I got to be a little critical here and say, yeah, you went 3 gate, you had to build some observers, but you didn't take any damage. Why aren't we further ahead in terms of economy? For me, a 7-minute fourth base seems kind of late against the Terran that's just turtling, but I think this is partially because herO thought it might be a 2-base push after the Banshee. So maybe sneaking one of those observers across the map earlier would have given him the information to get this transition going earlier. As it is, he's doing fine. He'll rally out to the fourth. It just doesn't feel like he's really got momentum off his opening. Tanks are building. We've got 2 medevacs only. I think I'd like to see ByuN go for 2-2, but also a second starport, which means he needs these gases up and mining on this third ASAP. So he should be putting workers on these gases immediately. And yeah, reactors building on the factory. I'd love to see a second starport. I think skip Widow Mines entirely in this sort of game. It can be nice to pepper them around a little bit, but I just don't think it's a high priority, especially with the new Widow Mine revealing itself. The armory no longer making those Widow Mines quite as obnoxious as they used to be. I actually think that's probably the most elegant change we've seen in a while in StarCraft 2, and I think it was so necessary. It's kind of funny to see the reaction some players had saying this is going to ruin Terran's map control. Other Protoss players saying, oh, it won't matter at all. And I'm like, dude, you clearly haven't watched high-level Protoss versus Terran games in the last few years or played them. Like, the number of games I won just because of Armory Widow Mines scattered around the map, like destroying Protoss map control, was actually huge, right? There was a lot of games where you could just win off of those Widow Mines and the lack of Protoss detection. herO, guys, he's going double Stargate. What the hell are we looking at right now? I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Because there's 4th command centers on the way. Ghosts 2-2. Actually, it makes sense. If this was more of a 3-base pushing style, it wouldn't make sense. But because ByuN's going double upgrades, I think he'll add 3 more barracks in that second starport soon as well. You know what? Going up to Tempest Carrier is actually huge. I do think if you're going to go to that, Storm becomes a must. Not yet, but maybe a minute from now, you want to start heading towards Psystorm. So far, a little bit of a skirmish in the middle. Both sides are kind of... This is the rare sort of game. You don't see this with ByuN versus herO much because they're normally so aggressive as ByuN cleans that observer up. Yeah, you're normally going to see one of these guys make a big play to kill the other player for, much earlier than this. Fleet Beacon and third Stargate on the way, so herO's getting ready for that air transition. Now, herO's army should not really be too far out because he's only got one sentry and one disruptor. It's good that he's, like, exerting force. And look at that. He'll get a sensor tower for free, which is great. That, like, really removes the map vision. See all these little markers where he gets where the enemy is. That's going to be gone. Banshee in the top. At least it's keeping an observer pinned up there. Just keeping his opponent busy. Second starport's on that reactor. 3 more barracks going down. ByuN's getting well upgraded. But +3 weapons is up. Or on the way for herO. +1 armor. He's only got 1 robo. So remember that herO's kind of ability to reinforce his ground army if he gets it caught is very low. And only... Okay, he's starting carriers. 3 carriers start. We do want to see +2 air attack start. And he does. Guys, he starts +2 air attack immediately. Wow. Dude, herO's going to make a pretty smooth carrier transition. I think he's going to get 6 carriers out before the next big fight. Zealot's going to take out a depot. Stalker should be able to take out the missile turret and blink away, assuming he's watching, which he is. Just pulling back for now. You don't want to give any of these units away for free. Single Marine Scout there. This army should not be on the map, though. herO right now is trying to posture with, like, a tiny army, and he could just get stimmed on and killed so easily. There's just no reason to be out on the map right now as herO. This is unnecessarily risky. And whilst he is keeping ByuN paranoid because of these movements, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's cool. As long as you get away with it, this seems good. You're like, hey, it cost me nothing. I'm just acting scary. But there are so many games where herO gets this army surrounded on the map, killed, and then loses the game to the counterattack. And that's what I'm worrying about right now. Because scaring your opponent is a very intangible gain. It's we're keeping ByuN a little worried. What does that translate to in actual game terms, in terms of resources and things? Nothing. It maybe slows down ByuN attacking you. I don't think ByuN was planning on attacking yet anyway. The bigger thing is that ByuN's not scouting the carriers. That's the one thing that's really happening here. Disruptors using zoning and scouting disruptor shots through the grass there. Mass cannon battery on the 5th base goes down. +3 armor starts up for Protoss. So it's going to be 3-3 on the ground, +2, +1 air upgrades. And there is no sign of, like, mass Viking production or anything like that. There's 2 starports, 3-3 cloak is on the way for Ghosts. ByuN is still on a ground army. It really feels like he doesn't realize what he's up against here. It feels like he just has no idea. I gotta go to ByuN's camera. Let's watch from ByuN's camera for a minute. I feel like he has no idea. He's just hunting for observers right now, making sure he doesn't get hit by disruptors. We'll keep that production tab up. Fusion Core, 5 commands in his building, +2 ship weapons. Like, he's got a good economic setup. He's building towards that, like, massive iron bank. But right now, man, he's moving into Protoss territory. He has no idea where the Protoss army is. His whole army is joining up here. Okay, he sees it. He sees Mama. He sees Mama. He stims forward on the Colossus. Oh, he's got to get out of that time warp, though. I think he saw some interceptors there. Did he? No. The carriers have hid themselves really well. Disruptor comes out from the side. He loses only 1 Marauder. ByuN needs to scan. Guys, the fact that he's not scanning ahead of this to see what the army looks like is insane. Oh my god, now the carriers reveal themselves. ByuN is going to try and fight out here in the open. He stims forward like a psychopath. Is it going to work? Oh my god, the carriers and the Colossus going down. Zealot Warping comes in. But dude, did he just kill herO? Did he literally just stim in and just win? The carriers mostly going down. Okay, looks like the carriers will barely win that fight, but herO lost so much stuff, and ByuN just picks up, pulls back. He's got like 1 billion orbitals behind this. Look at this, guys. He's already on 5 orbitals, but he's got more of them making right now. 2 more command centers finishing down there. Extra ones standing ready to morph into those orbitals. He's got to blanket mules, though. He needs minerals. Fighting right then was kind of a dangerous point for ByuN to fight, even though that fight was good, because he doesn't have the money. He's got to pull back. He cannot fight. Seeing the carriers coming, he needs to pull way back. If he fights out here, he loses the game. If he pulls back to his production, waits for more units, he can win. ByuN, what are you doing? This is rule 101 of fighting carriers. Do not fight them until you have enough anti-air. Oh my gosh, what's he doing? He should not be out here. He should not be out here. He's got to get away because those interceptors being launched is scary, but he has to pull back until he has way more Marines and Vikings, which he doesn't have. Oh, I think this is a clutch move for herO. herO's going to shove on top, catch the Vikings, and getting rid of those Vikings while they're in low numbers means there's no way for ByuN to ever catch up on the anti-air. Bit of a mistake there for ByuN, but I gotta say, what a weird series of fights that was. Let's rewind quickly. So as soon as he did the fight, I think he should have started building some turrets out front. The problem here is if you don't have enough to fight the carriers straight away, they can launch interceptors on the buildings, and once the interceptors are launched, the carriers are way stronger. Because normally they have to launch the interceptors one at a time. So look at this. Look at like just this carrier, for instance, on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Once they're out, though, you can just keep changing targets. They never need to return. So the moment the fight starts, the carrier's immediately doing full damage. So this is why it always sucks. If you have like 6, 7 turrets here, you can fight with a bunch of Marines and Vikings and Ghosts and start gunning down at least the Interceptors as they come out. It's a different story. Without the turrets out front, he was in trouble. And I gotta wonder, did he immediately rebuild? So as this fight's dying, as he picks up and pulls back, you can see pure Marine Viking in production on 8 barracks, unfortunately a lot of which have tech labs. He's trying to build a 3rd starport as well. So it's, yeah, he's trying to build a lot of Marines right now. I do think maybe he could have been building a few more. You can see there's a little bit of missed Marine production. These reacted barracks aren't pumping Marines right now. And he desperately just needs to like hold down the Marine Viking ghost key, right? Did he at least keep building Vikings? Yeah. So he queued up plenty of Vikings, but not enough Marines. He starts building a few ghosts as well. And I think he just underestimated this 2-1 carrier counterattack. And that ends up costing him big time. Yeah, it felt like he just didn't quite respect what was about to happen to him. He's still only building 6 Marines at a time, guys. There's some of these barracks. You can see 2 barracks sitting idle here. This one and this one. So that's unfortunate for him. herO, it's a crazy counterattack to do, but hats off to herO for making it work. GG, well played. All right, that was a pretty slick carrier swap. Identifying that his opponent was being very defensive and he had time to do it. Nicely done by herO. No Psystorm added does make me a little disappointed for the long game, but to be fair, it worked out just fine. The thing is, like, so when that fight happened where ByuN jumped on him, those are the sort of things where Storm's really good, because if your opponent just stims forward like that, they can never clear all your Storms before they run forward, and that's where Storm becomes an amazing late game ability for basically controlling how quickly a Terran can jump on you. ByuN's been loving this lately. He does it again. I've seen him do this a few times in the last week or two. He's loving this proxy location. Now, the funny thing about this is if they send a probe across the map, the probe will automatically path through this path to get to the enemy base because it knows it's blocked. That's the way pathing works in StarCraft. So it's such an obvious proxy, and that's why I think it's really dumb. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but look, he's clicked on the other side of the map. Or actually, maybe it goes north. Oh, no, he's going to proxy as well. Oh, okay, herO's proxying up here. Never mind. So herO, I think, would always be going in this direction with this probe. So he doesn't realize that the barracks is there, but he's going double gas already. So it's a proxy Stargate. Actually, is he just doing old school Void Ray proxy? This looks like an old school Void Ray shield battery proxy. Maybe you can squeeze some batteries here and have the Void Ray floating there and just try to win the game. That build isn't as good as it once was, but I mean, I have seen, like, I think it was like Maples and some other guys were like almost beating top Terrans and sometimes even taking maps off them in the weekly cups with this sort of build. So I think because it's so rare now, it's like powerful again, right? It was so common a few years ago when the Void Ray was cheaper and moved faster and was quicker to build. It had like a whole bunch of crazy buffs it got all at once in 2019 in Blizzard's last official patch. And the community had to tone that one right down. After the Void Ray was just all over every matchup every single time. Reaper's going to come in nice and early. ByuN is going for a factory, but he's going to need to get Cyclones out. And the problem is the new Cyclone's actually very weak to like Tempest proxy as well. Ooh, how many probes can we get? That's the question. ByuN's micro looking good, but goes a bit deep. Takes a few extra hits there. Remember, every extra hit you take could lead to a dead Reaper. Oh, is he going to get surrounded? He does. He gets 2 probes, though. 2 probes is pretty good damage. But losing the Reaper is kind of painful. Now, he knows he's being one-base proxied, I believe, so he should know about that Stargate, which means he needs to get, like, a bunker over here. Oh, no, he doesn't realize. He thinks it's a gold base. I think he thinks it's a gold base right now because he went straight in, or maybe he thinks it's this base here. Okay, there's a Zealot arriving. Dude, he's building a command center, no bunker, and a tech lab. A tech lab? What's a tech lab for? Siege tank? No, he's dead. He's dead. He's building a tank, guys. His barracks floats back and sees the Stargate on the other side of the map. The Reaper gets deflected by the Adept. He finally realizes he's against a one-base opponent, and he does cancel the tank and starts a Cyclone, but he needs bunkers and Marines, but he can't do that because, well, guess what? He's got no Marines. His barracks is here. So he actually needs turrets, and the engineering bay is building, but it's too late. That Void Ray is going to get out, and if it just sits above the factory, I don't think you can keep a Cyclone alive. So I think as herO, you move the Void Ray above the factory, about to here, and then you just A-move it. I would move it up to the right just a little because you know he's going to rally that Cyclone up into the top right side. You see the mass SCVs? I don't think they can out-repair Prismatic Alignment, can they? Maybe they can. Oh, the Adept adding a little bit of damage. The Adept added a little bit of damage. Those couple of Adept hits were actually huge. Oh, and herO gets a crisp 2-0. A full macro to late game 1 and the quickest game 2 ever. herO is through to the finals. Alright, well, speedruns his semifinals and gets straight to the finals. It's herO in the bottom right side, up against Gumiho in the top left. And the grand finals is underway. Gumiho is a creative Terran mastermind who throws the kitchen sink at his Protoss opponents. He does not like to transition to ghosts. He hits a lot of very overwhelming mass bio plays to finish the game. So he's not really like, I'm going to pull SCVs and just kill you with the 3 racks push that often. He will sometimes do a really well-timed bunker push, but it's usually, I'm going to expand behind that, get more money, get more bases, and swarm you with well-upgraded Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Mine, and just have so much stuff. You might have Storm and Colossus, but I've got 80 more supply, and half my army drops in your main, half my army attacks your 4th base. Good luck defending both at the same time. That's how Gumiho likes to finish the game. And obviously this is always trying to get a lead early with his crazy openings. Problem for him is herO is an absolute predator. herO is just like so unpredictable. Usually when they play, it feels like Gumiho hits a sneaky proxy Reaper, herO counterattacks with a sneaky Adept, and then like an Oracle tries to come in, but Gumiho blocks it, and they go back and forth, and I always go, oh, I think Gumiho's ahead, and then he goes, it's time to do that greedy transition or whatever. And it's at that moment, herO just sits in with like the most bizarre, surprising, like Warp Prism Charge Zealot attack in his main, and Gumiho just like doesn't have enough units, crumbles, falls apart, dies. And you go, oh, I mean, that's such a weird attack, but herO has this knack of when they go back and forth 3 or 4 steps in the sort of the jiu-jitsu match of cheesy PvT, which is what they both play, very kind of dynamic, some would say cheesy PvT. Eventually it feels like herO just always catches him off with the final move and Gumiho just kind of dies. It looks so even and so close. Sometimes Gumiho looks like he's winning and then herO just kills him. And I see a lot of their series go like 3-1 in the favor of herO. That being said, Gumiho's been slaying it recently. He's been doing really well in his Zerg versus Terran. His Terran versus Zerg. We know in the last year he improved his TVT a lot, and whilst he might not be as good as Maru, he's definitely capable of beating ByuN, beating Maru, beating Cure. They might still, all of them except maybe ByuN having winning records versus him, but those are like the very top TVT players in the world, and that's always the matchup which you would expect Gumiho to be the weakest in because he doesn't have the strategic asymmetry that he relies on against Protoss and Zerg to get his advantages. Notice as the shields are gone, herO just pulls back there. Doesn't want to risk taking any damage. Very good Reaper micro can outrange you, of course. That's a Marine in the middle of the map. That's a miss rally, guys. I think... Or is he actually wanting to use a Marine to try and ambush an Adept? This is a really bad move because there's 2 Adepts coming out right now. That Marine does not want to be there. I think he's... I guess he wants to... Oh, he's got Concussive Shell Marauder. Wait, it's not got Concussive. He stopped... Oh, no! The Adept's killed the Reaper. The Marine's there. He's gone Marauder, but he's forgot Concussive Shells, guys. Which means the Marauder can do damage, and it can definitely tank against the Adepts. And he's got Hellions coming in as well, but it's a bit of a weird situation now. He's building Concussive only now. Concussive does start. Oh, he's going to shade in. The Hellions need to get down there to try and punish this. SCV goes down. If you can kill a few of these of the Adepts, that's fine, but you don't want to lose the Hellion. Oh god, herO's got the Hellion. herO's got the Hellion kill. Happy to lose an Adept for an SCV and a Hellion, because he also sees what's happening. And he goes, well, that's cool. I'll just make a battery. I'll go 3 gates after my Robo just to be super safe. And you're opening, investing in this early tech, I was like, you can't really do damage now. And as herO, you just got to probe up and work your way to a 3rd base, because you kind of have seen the sort of brand of surprise aggression that's coming out of Gumiho. Now, what is cool about this opening is you can go for a 3 Marauder drop and actually focus down Stalkers and Pylons really quickly. But they're not as good at killing probes, which is why if you can surprise with this drop and then run Hellions in the natural or something like that, that's where it really excels. Now, he's going to try and surprise by dropping on the right side, because the main is the more obvious option, and that is where herO is set up with his Stalkers. That being said, there's a battery nearby, an Adept on location, and with Blink almost done and those 3 Warp Gates finishing, that's going to be pretty good. herO does hit a supply block, which has slowed down his already very slow probing in this game. 4 minutes 20, and he's still not saturated on his natural. That's pretty bad, guys. Usually off a 1-gate expand, you should be fully saturated about 350, with a core before Nexus no later than about 410. So herO's about 4 or 5 probes behind where he should be in this game, but his trades were pretty good at the start. Let's see if he can keep it up. Does take down that one, and... Ooh! Marauder's getting taken out, dude. This is huge. The Medevac going down, the Marauder's getting shut down. And remember, I said 4 or 5 probes. So I mean 4 or 5 probes if he was chronoing nonstop. Just to be sure, I want to explain that. I might have sounded like I was saying herO missed 5 probes in production. He didn't miss 5 probes in production. He chrono boosted his gateway twice at the start to get the 2 Adepts out rather than just once. And That combined with the core before Nexus does slow you down, man. These Hellions doing damage. Is he just going to kill him? 3-gate blink is like not a weak attack. He could have saved that adept with the prism. I would have liked to see him do that. But I think he knows if he can just blink on that tank, it's kind of like game over. These Stalkers, oh, a little sloppy there for herO. Really, I like the way the Viking is actually zoning. Gumiho's got a second Viking and a tank coming out. That tank needs to support the first tank. I think he's safe. With 2 Vikings, I think he's safe. Is he though? Oh my god, he just dives. He just dives. herO, the psychopath, just dives into the base. He does take both tanks down. No, he doesn't even take out. Okay, he does get both tanks, but he loses a lot of Stalkers for it. Problem is Gumiho's not building another tank. Gumiho pulled off gas. Gumiho pulled almost completely off gas there. Oh, he did take a lot of damage. That being said, only 3 workers. I mean, you've killed 10, 11 Stalkers. I don't know, man. I think herO should have rotated to the natural. I think he foreshadowed what he was doing a little bit too much there. He loses the last 2 Stalkers as well. From riches to rags, a modern Protoss tale here. He's now going 8-gate, 2-base, charge lot, zealot all in. So herO basically knows he just threw away what could have been a small lead in this game, maybe a big lead. And now he's saying, well, I don't think I get back in a macro game. So you're going to expect me to take a 3rd base here, to go for a forge, to macro up, go for Robo, Colossus Bay, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go 2-base all in. Now, the only way this works, in my opinion, is if he waits for Gumiho to move out. There's no way he's going to break Gumiho defensively, and even running in here is a crazy person's move. Luckily, Stim's not done, though. Maybe he can get away with it. There's another Marauder inside the bunker that's not pulling here, but with the Vikings, the Marines, and the Marauders should do pretty well. The Zealot's actually doing a good job of tanking. The Prism goes down. A whole bunch of Stalkers are falling, though. Ooh, the Zealots do kill quite a few Marines, but he reveals charge as well. Yeah, I don't think this is a good move for herO. Because, like I said, guys, if you're doing a 2-base all-in in a situation where your opponent expects you to be macroing, then you can wait for them to move out and swarm them. But look, now it's so obvious he's just going for an all-in. Gumiho, just without scan, has his decision-making for the next 4 minutes of this game made for himself. And you might be wondering, what do you mean, Pig? What do you mean decision-making made for him? Unless Gumiho's an absolute moron, he knows, oh, you're warping in 8 Zealots at a time on 2-base. I'm just going to sit here and defend. As long as I survive, I'm good. He didn't full wall. You could argue he's a little vulnerable, but yeah, I think with SCV pull, a bunker, he should be fine. I mean, Stim's not done. And he's just going to keep going for it. 4D T-drop in the main. Dude, if herO breaks him, this would be wild. But Marauders on the front. There are 2 Vikings ready as well. As long as those Vikings are ready for the Prism, this is going to be his 3rd Warp Prism going down. I mean, yeah, he'll unload the DTs, but this is just crazy aggression for herO. He's looking so desperate to just kill, kill, kill. 0 chill at all. 0 surprise. The DTs are getting cleaned up. Nice scan in the main as well as a turret building. He will need another scan with a 3rd orbital about to finish. That'll be good. I'd like to see the Stalkers and Zealots try to breach the natural at the same time. He's trying to build a 3rd Nexus as herO, but he's not probing, so he's not really committed to that. A reactor does get sniped. He's going for some more reactors. There's no scans available for a few more seconds. A depot goes down. This is actually some pretty good value, guys. That tank's getting damaged as well. He's going to lose a tank down there. Scan does take out these 2 DTs, though. So the DT down the bottom does take out the other one. He's got another scan, though. Gumiho cleans up the DTs. Yeah, he takes some damage. He loses some important infrastructure, which would matter if herO had any economy to speak of. But he's stuck on 2-base. His main's literally mining out of mineral patches as we speak. He's about to lose another one on this left side. You can see only 10 minerals left, 35 minerals there. His 3rd base isn't done. He hasn't been probing. He has no splash damage, which means his ability to come back in this game is close to 0. In these sort of games, I feel like Storm is basically a must-have. Force fields, nice. Immortals, not bad. +1 upgrade, pretty good. But without Psystorm, I do not see you recovering against a 3-base Terran. That being said, it's herO. He's made magic happen before. He could definitely do it again. He's aware of the Liberator up north, so he's going to try and chase it down. Gumiho, though, realizing that was spotted by the Observer, turns it around and decides to go around the other side of the map, or basically go for this a little bit later. He's just going to use it defensively for now. 4th and 5th barracks, 2nd engineering bay, armory on the way. As I said, Gumiho, not a big fan of rushing ghosts, but he loves his upgrades, and he likes to just get ahead and overwhelm. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gumiho build a 4th command center as well. And against a Protoss who's chilling on 52 probes, that's going to be pretty darn effective. Because his main's already half mined out, even on 52 probes, that is 3 mineral lines fully going, or 2.5, I should say. herO needs to build a 4th if he wants this game to go longer. Instead, he's going to try and attack with sentries, immortal zealots. With a really good fight, he could make this work. He needs sick force fields. He needs to catch Gumiho out. Gumiho seems to be unaware of what's happening right now. Gumiho not watching. Gumiho not watching. Okay, pulling back up this ramp. He's got to get away. Gumiho just needs to, like, prolong the fight. Get out of there. Away from the force fields. He started stepping maybe a little bit too much, letting those force fields land. The Zealots are starting to fall, though. He's fighting the Zealots outside of the shield. And those Zealots are getting thinned out. The Medevacs should be pulling away as well. Gumiho just needs to survive. If he pulls SCVs into this fight against the Immortal Sentry, they will do so much for him. He has to pull the SCVs, though. That's his second or third stim. His bio is very heavily damaged. He will manage to almost catch an Immortal, but the Prism gets out of there. Really good pullbacks here by herO. Gumiho's jumping on top. He's willing to sacrifice his SCVs. He does take out the Prism. The Zealot Warping gets shut down. Gumiho with a decisive fight on top of herO. He realized that herO wanted to just make him overstim continually and drag this fight out and wear him down. So he said, pull the SCVs, be willing to sacrifice those. It's okay if I lose these units. He's even going to take out that Observer there and then just pull back and say, cool, I lost 13 workers. I'm still on 59. Just rebuild the bio ball and survive. That's all I got to do here. herO, on the other hand, has still not started a 4th base. He's trying to make a Robobay and a +2, but without a 4th base, it's all about the Zealot Stalker breaking Gumiho right here, right now. And that is definitely a long shot. That being said, SCV is not being pulled as a mistake. He's got to focus these Stalkers down. 1, 2, 3. One Stalker is all that escapes. The bio ball is very damaged. Definitely pulling a few SCVs just to give himself room to breathe would be a good idea for Gumiho. Remember, he doesn't have many Marines. Marauders don't really kill Zealots very well. And your stims, especially as your medevac count's only at like 4 with low energy, you got to pull SCVs. Gumiho's being too greedy. Guys, he might actually die. If he doesn't respect this, this is very knife's edge. I mean, okay, he's fine. He's fine. I just feel like, you know, you don't need to take that risk there. Of course, he doesn't realize how low herO's economy is. So maybe in his mind, he's like, oh, herO could have a 4th base. You know, if he's on 60 workers and 4 bases, I can't really throw more workers away or I'll be too far behind. And to be fair, Gumiho judged it just right. I was a little bit worried. I was like, dude, don't even take the risk. But he's floated his main down now as well, which is a pretty good move. He does need to build these 2 gases. This is interesting that he lifted his main so early. Wow, that's kind of a crazy move. It'll be worth it a few minutes from now, but it did mean his mining was lower right at that crucial point when herO was trying to kill him. So it's sort of like long-term efficiency play, which pays off a few minutes from now, but definitely gives you a window where a crazy man like herO could potentially take advantage. Got to build turrets at each base because of the threat of the DTs. Colossus are on the way. 4th Nexus finally starts. I do wonder in these sort of games, like, you know, if herO plays more macro-centric, what does it look like? Because I think it's easy as the observer to fall into the trap of thinking, dude, if he just had an extra base and macroed behind this, like, look how good his position would be. But I think that is a trap. I think that's actually an incorrect read, because I think if he wasn't so aggressive, Gumiho would have been in his face killing him, right? The only reason he has this much room to breathe is because he's been putting everything into his aggression. And yeah, it kept Gumiho back for a little bit, but ultimately it did not succeed. And we see that reflected in the supply. Gumiho just moves up the top, cancels the 4th. He's got a good army coming in the south as well. It's mostly Widow Mines, to be fair, but there is a decent amount of Marine Marauder behind it. They should be able to focus that 3rd down. This bio in the north is a little over-damaged. Gumiho definitely is a bit of a, like, run in and out sort of guy. He kind of... It reminds me of how I use bio versus Protoss, where you're not really looking to fight the Protoss front line. You're looking to just catch them off, kill some stuff, run away, and then, like, heal up to fight another day. Whereas you often see, like, Clem and Cure and Maru and these guys, you know, constantly looking to, like, actually engage the Colossus Zealot army and just, like, get the Zealots to charge, pick off, like, 4 Zealots while you start a step away, dodge the Disruptor shots. If the Disruptors come too far forward, kill one. Whereas Gumiho is more like, hey, look over here, distracted, runs in with the other army, kills a Nexus, picks up, flies away. Like, he's very much like, he likes to do in these short bursts so that then he can keep his macro focus. And that's why lots of depots, his 2-2s finishing. As 2-2 kicks in here, he should be in a really good spot, especially if this Marine Marauder goes around that right side. He's got a double drop in the back of Probe's main, killing probes right now, of herO's main killing probes, I should say. The Marine Marauder, if they flank, this could be big. Dude, that Widow Mine was massive. It knocked the shields off that entire army. This drop's still going. The Marine Marauder does get intercepted by herO's reinforced. The bio up there is actually quite overstimmed. Gumiho is being so careful. Dude, you can tell he's lost so many games from ahead against herO before. He's like, I'm taking no chances, I'm taking no chances. And that's what I actually love to see. I'd love to see it. Just like, nope, just let them heal, wait for it, pull the SCVs. He moved commands forward to try and get on top of the Colossus. I don't like that micro. I think the top side could have already killed all the Zealot Stalker. They were kind of on move command, stuck around the force fields. The units on the bottom, it was good though. It did look, this is the funny thing with Gumiho, is like, yeah, he doesn't look quite as crisp on the bio control, but strategically, positionally, tactically, an absolute mastermind. Beautiful game 1 for Gumiho. The people's hero, Gumiho, down here in the bottom right side. So good at catching his opponent out of position and playing smart and safe. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. His micro is not bad by any means. And actually, like, if you compare him to any of the Terrans, I think in the early or middle years of StarCraft 2, I think he, like, out-micros and macros them easily. I think it's only really like that very cream of the crop, exceptionally talented, exceptionally hardworking and experienced players. Also, guys who don't have hyperhidrosis. For those who don't know, like Gumiho, he sweats profusely as like a medical just condition he has. It's why he's called the Towel Terran. It's why he has that little super absorbent towel that he keeps over his mouse to play with, so that he isn't just slipping into the mouse and getting all slippery in his hands. It's got to affect the finesse with which you can play. Like, it really does. So much we talk about Maru's shoulder, sometimes giving him problems, ByuN's wrists. I mean, Gumiho's always had this as a handicap, and yet he makes it work, and that's why I really look up to him as a player. Someone I can copy his tactics. I think he's so good at catching his opponents off guard. Speak of the devil, proxy racks right outside herO's base. Yeah, he's just so good at catching people off guard and finding ways to really outsmart and outposition his opponents, rather than just going into the raw physical, high-speed wrestling match of StarCraft. Now, herO, I think he's still going Cybercore first. He's just checking for the engineering bay, which is why he's down here early. This Reaper will not be able to jump up the ledge. Oh, is he doing the Marauder? He's going to do the Marauder inside the main. This is a funky opening, man. Unfortunately for him, he gets scouted, though. I think that late probe caught him off guard. Otherwise, he would have tried to hide the factory. Usually with this build, you try to hide your buildings. So you make it look like they think, oh, maybe there's like barracks factory and there's going to be like a marine tank one base all in. But herO hasn't quite kind of figured this out yet. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Swaps the weak SCV off. That's really good safety from him. Tech Lab's up. If you can get a few Marauders out, you can always pull them back to this choke point where probes cannot surround them. You see he's clicked there right in that choke point. So even probes kind of beat Marauders, which is kind of funny because they just don't kill the probes that quickly. But yeah, especially if he builds a second adept and then it's like 2 adepts and probes, especially if one of them's on the other side of the map, that's really bad. Now, he's a little light on money. Gumiho needs to start that second Marauder. About a 3-second delay there. Not a big deal. It's more important to get the Hellion started with this build, because what's going to happen is as he's pulling probes and dealing with it, Hellions are going to start driving into the base, because Hellions are so fast, man. And that's going to be huge. Ooh, herO's ensuring he sees what comes out. He's like, dude, I need to see what's happening here. And it is indeed just a Hellion to start. He's just going to get that out. Not a Cyclone. Does that make herO realize? No, he still doesn't realize there's 3 Marauders waiting. Oh my gosh. So there's an Adept here, guys. Okay, that also allows him to get inside the base, which is super cute. 2 Hellions will beat an Adept, though. I would like to see him repair the Hellion. Drive back to the mineral line and repair it. He's not going to bother, though. Marauders are going to show themselves. Here we go. Oh, he accidentally shoots the gas on the first volley. Okay, you got to be careful here. It does take just 4 shots to kill a probe, but he's not really focus firing yet. 3 Marauders. Still going to just be getting those 2 shots. He can go forward. He could kill this pylon as well. Those Marauders being very conservative because he's busy microing against the Adepts. Hellions are about to drive in as well. Is Gumiho being a bit too conservative right now? I'm not quite sure. He can't get surrounded. You can't get surrounded out there. Good pullbacks. Really good pullbacks by him. Hellions driving in at the same time. Those Hellions are going to cause an absolute ruckus, especially on these probes that are stacked. If these Hellions rotate around and get 1 or 2 volleys on those stacked probes, this could be game over. Already so much damage going down. herO not realizing there was a barracks inside his base, and those are the Hellion shots I was talking about. Whenever the probes stack up to try and kill the Marauders, it is just brutal how much damage those Hellions do. The combo. There's 2 Cyclones building behind this. He did build a reactor at home as well, so this is not all in, guys. The Oracle's out of energy, which means he can just shift-click those probes. Doesn't even need to, like, micro this necessarily. He's going to do it anyway. And look at that. Tries to hide the probe in the gas, does herO. But of course, oh, Gumiho will finish those off. Gets 2 probes. Not going to be able to get a 3rd one, I don't think. Good micro by herO. Oh my god, he gets it. Gets another one. And he's just going to keep building Marauders because he knows he's broke. He'll rally Cyclones across command center, is finally building behind it. And the surprise Tech Lab proxy Marauder inside your main base gets him off guard. Dude, this is bringing me back, man. I don't know if anyone remembers quite a few years ago when I was doing a lot of games on my Star-Lord Cheesy account. One of my favorite things to do would hide a barracks in their main and do moves like this, but then I'd float it back in later, and then I'd like run Marines into their mineral line constantly, and there's just something that's so satisfying about hiding units in your opponent's main. Like, you just have that cheeky grin on your face as Gumiho. You just go, I can't believe he didn't find this, you know? Like, there's just this one little shadowy corner in your main the whole time with his Marauders building. herO's got to be upset at that. Gumiho is already up 2-0 in this grand finals. Well, it's now or never. He's got to dig deep and make the comeback. Dragon Kaiser Gaming's herO in the top right side of the map. Cloud9's Gumiho, though. Dude, what a savage. Gumiho is looking so sexy right now. He's just looking fantastic. He's looking so good. So good. It was kind of a dirty build. It worked out, right? But game 1 was clean as well. To be fair, game one kind of was herO impaling himself, actually, if we think about it. He won the early trades, and then he decided to just try to get the win in a situation where he was miles ahead if he just macroed, number one. Number two, he probably could have got the win if he attacked the natural instead of trying to blink into 2 tanks, 3 marauders with concussive, a pack of marines. As about the silliest blink in we've seen, especially. I mean, he didn't have full context on the second tank, I guess, when he blinked in, because he didn't have an observer. He went prism first, but still, that game one was one a normal Protoss player would be kicking themselves about. I'm pretty sure herO just doesn't feel any frustration when he throws games like that, because he does it all the time. It's the high risk, high reward style. It's that zero fear that gives him the confidence to just win games suddenly and one-sidedly, and sometimes he just cleans up series with 0 effort. There's a baneling in that tube. Wow. And other times, you know what? Sometimes it backfires. Got bloody like a Doom guy suit, Firebat suit or something like that in there. All right, Reaper's on the way first here for ByuN. Sorry, not ByuN, Gumiho. herO already dispatched that guy, didn't he? He already dispatched ByuN. The bloody proxy Void Ray. Got him good. Command Center goes down pretty early. Probe was out of shield, so he wasn't able to block that. He can keep harassing, though. Just fight the probe that's already taken damage, since you can kill him. Yeah, nicely done. And even just forcing that SCV off the line would be good, but because the Reaper pops at 158, he's like, dude, if I don't want to recall, I got to get out of there with that probe right now. And he left it so late, I would actually hide up in the top left corner of the map, which, yep, he's doing just that. Basically, I would say if you don't want the Reaper to catch you on the way home, since it's so much faster than the probe, you probably want to, and you want to go straight home with the probe, you want to leave it about a minute 50, maybe slightly earlier than then to give yourself plenty of room. That Reaper will catch up. He goes back for the double in harass, but the Reaper and the Marine were both looking for that probe, so it does get shut down. It's going to be an Adept into Twilight. Second chrono on the Adept as well. Second chrono is something that's pretty common. I would say it's standard, because if you don't chrono the second Adept, your first Adept can't go across the map without risk of the Reaper ducking in behind it and killing some probes. But getting the second chrono out straight away kind of closes that window, as that 10-second speed up on that second Reaper just makes sure that risk is gone. Oh, hello! Wow, Gumiho losing the Reaper there. I don't know, man. I feel like he could have pulled that back a little earlier. On the other hand, if he kills the Adept, it might be worth it. herO not shading that Adept away. Interesting control there. Does damage the Marine, maybe opening up a chance for the second Adept to get in. The Cyclone's going to be out in about 15 seconds. So in 15 seconds, you're going to lose the chance to do that. Gumiho's trying to hide the SCV. SCV's dead. I don't think he can get it out in time. Yeah, if he ran far to the left, maybe he could have at least forced the Shade to commit. And then maybe the Cyclone kills this. But these Marines taking damage. He's trying to kind of bait herO into staying here. I wouldn't have minded herO trying to run up the ramp to finish off one of those Marines. Either way, he does survive. The Robo goes down, second gate as well. I like that Robo positioning. It's a little further in the back. I mean, it can get killed by tank pushers on the left. So actually, I don't like this positioning at all. So we've seen a lot of like tank pushers get over here at some points in the latest. I mean, it depends on what sort of game you're in. That's only some games where that happens. Let's be honest, I just like my production in my main base. I just don't like building valuable production on the natural because of those scary Terran 2 base pushers. That's just me being risk averse in that regard, and does slow down my rally, and also means I don't have like wall offs, and sometimes I can't build a shield battery on the natural if I don't have a pile in there. Wow, greedy build for herO, guys. It's just a two-gate robo into third. Down 0-2, 0 fear. That's the way herO plays. He says, yeah, 0 points on the board, 0 fear. A lot of people go, oh, if I lose the next game, I'm out. And sometimes they get overly careful in these scenarios, which actually makes it harder to win, because whilst being careful, it may limit the random things you can lose to in this game. How are you going to win 3 games in a row without dropping a map, without taking some risks? Yeah, like what you learn to understand the more StarCraft you play is, like, if you don't take risks when you're behind, you're actually just guaranteeing you'll lose. The more behind you get, the bigger risks you should take. The reason we get very critical of kind of players like herO, who is so risky, is that he takes those risks when he's ahead, when he doesn't need to. The ultimate way to play StarCraft is to take bigger risks when you're further behind and smaller risks when you're further ahead, right? Where you hedge your bets a little bit. Don't get me wrong, you still want to adjust to the position and, oh, I'm ahead, I can be even greedier than I normally am. But you don't want to be like, well, I'm going to be 1,000 times greedier and die to an all-in if it happens, when, well, why? If I was just a little greedy, I'd be so far ahead anyway. I don't need to be that greedy. And that's kind of the thing that happens where it's all about, you know, intelligent risk assessment and gambling when you need to gamble and playing safe when you don't need to gamble. And that is where you get the most just amazing players that have the best careers and longevity. Double medevac marine drop coming towards that main, dude. It's a pretty fast 2-1-1. He's trying to whoop in a Stalker. He does not target the medevac at all. Tries to blink away. These Stalkers need to get out of here, man. Dude, hero's in trouble. Hero's in trouble. The probes need to get out of here. It's a lot of Stalkers, though. You don't want to overstay your welcome as Gumiho, because if you lose all the drops, it can get really rough. Remember, these guys don't have combat shields. They are getting shot down. Good micro by herO. Very good micro. He's got to fight with the probes. Probes do come into fight. He pulls them back immediately. When the moment Gumiho stepped away, he pulled the probes back. Now he goes back in. That's a lot of probes to go down. 7 probes, a bunch of Stalkers. 1 medevac does fall. Get some damage on the other. Oh, can he kill that? Unfortunately, that Stalker does run in the other direction, but he wouldn't have killed it anyway. So he loses at the end of that, guys. 5 Stalkers, a Pylon, 8 probes. Gets his Forge and his Robo Bay depowered. But the unit's lost type isn't too bad, right? Because he's got a third up during this. Remember, he had such a quick third. He can recover. So he kind of chronos his probes across his Nexus. Gets back on top of it. Third command center just started for Gumiho. But Gumiho's already got to push through the middle. Oh, man. He's only got a 3 Marine drop on the right, which is not that scary. Cyclone will take out the Adept, which is a nice move. How many barracks has he got? 3, 4th and 5th barracks building. +1 attack stun, +1 armors on the way. Combat shields as well. There's only 1 tank here. It's mostly Marines. They do have combat shields now. The tank here as well. This could be good. Gumiho's push is way too small, though. Gumiho, there's a battery there. There's a battery. He's going too deep. Gumiho goes a bit too deep. I like the 3 Marine drop on the right. He can clear up a pylon. The tank could do pretty well. But this is a good move out for herO. Well worth cleaning up this push. He's going to take care of this whole push. Does he lose some Stalkers? Yes. Is it worth it? Almost certainly. Because he gets rid of the push. He survives with a 6-worker advantage. Yeah, he loses a pylon on the right side, but the Stalkers will chase that away as well. And Gumiho needs to keep it in his pants. That push there was an overcommitment. He just lost the advantage that he had in the unit's lost count. And remember, with the 3rd base up, now herO has the room to go for a 2nd Forge. And that 2nd Forge off 2 gateways, guys. He's only now building his 3rd and 4th gateway. After the Forge went down, he placed those. 2 more gases on the 3rd. 4th Nexus can go down on the right side in a moment. Oh, he's steaming forward. Full steam ahead for herO. Gumiho may have a supply lead. He's building a decent army, but after throwing those previous units away, it doesn't have the same punch it would have. If he was moving out now with an extra tank, 8 Marines, and a medevac, I don't know if herO can defend that 4th base, right? You could deny that, slow down his growth, and I think Gumiho's in a great spot. But because he doesn't have that aggressive timing necessarily, this feels to me like the sort of game where herO should be able to eke out an advantage. Does that mean he'll win? Almost certainly not. I mean, so not almost certainly not, but I mean, like, it definitely doesn't mean he'll just win, because we see these matches go back and forth. The question, though, for me is, does Gumiho, it looks like with the 2-2 upgrades, he's already got a 6 gas up. He does need to put 2 more workers on this gas. He's forgotten to do that. And if Gumiho doesn't do that when he first takes the expansion, sometimes he forgets for a long time. 4th command center goes down. I wonder when he goes range libs. This is my big question, is because to me this feels like he's just going to build a 2nd starport and go Vikings and stuff. He's still building tanks. Gumiho's playing a late game. Tanks are a unit you build to survive. You can do big pushes with them, but it's very inflexible. He's adding Ghost Academy. Yeah, we're not going to see fast libs this game. Dude, I like this turret. A lot of people will fly a Prism fast past the first turret, but having the backup turret means that's going to die, and 2 turrets on the edge. Yeah, Gumiho is a man after my own heart. He plays the same way I do. He does not want Prism sneaking in on the flanks of the map. If they come through the middle, sure, that's where his army's going to be defending. But he does not want them surprising him on the flanks. He's also got a crazy worker count, does Gumiho. Gumiho's on 75 workers. herO does take a 5th base, 81 workers from 2nd Robo Dark Shrine on the way. He's got his double upgrades going, so both sides are pretty similar there in the upgrade front. Gumiho was ahead early, but that will close, assuming herO's good at chrono boosting, as his +1 armor does finish. Few zealots working their way down the left side of the map. We do have 3 more barracks building, so like I said, a very standard setup, other than the fact that he's building tanks. So those tanks are going to give him some good ranged firepower to shoot down Colossus. Question is, how do you deal with herO's multi-prong? Because that's always the point in the game where I always say I'm a little worried for Gumiho. And I know I say this a lot. It's not like he's bad in the late game. I just feel guys like herO are so dynamic. He's going to be blitzing in with zealots and DTs from all sides. And I think as Gumiho, you need a little bit of extra defense for that. Oh, careful. He's getting jumped on. He's getting jumped on. He leaves the tank behind. Probably it's only one tank. I think that's a good move. Just pull back, clean up these zealots. Your 2-2's almost here, not quite. Sensor tower can get repaired. Nice move. See, he repairs that sensor tower. Tanks. These tanks create a no-go zone. And hero's like, yeah, okay, I can't push in there. Oh, he's going to try and take out the sensor tower. He really wants that sensor tower, man. It's a good move. Disruptor does get a few Marines as well. Throws another disruptor shot, gets himself a Marauder. Really good play. +2 armors coming in for hero. Double chronos on those. But 3-3 starts immediately with 2-2 finishes. What the hell? Gumiho's upgrade timings are so much better than most players. 3 command centers go down in the main. Gumiho is setting up for a long game. 2 tanks and 2 Vikings on that left side. He does need to keep his bio spread around his bases. He's got some bio up there, some bio here, and some at the rally. Disruptors are kind of poking forward. I like Gumiho's setup. Another sensor tower on the right side would definitely be something that could help him out. Let's see how many tank shots it takes to kill a single zealot. The tanks want to kill the disruptors. They want to kill the Colossus. They want to kill all of those units, guys. You can see there that tank did take a disruptor shot. The disruptor survives. Nope. The Marine and Marauder did end up running forward and tagging it. Hello. DTs. Oh, and this is what I was talking about. You need extra insurance against this sort of move, but he didn't have it. He just didn't think Mass Blink DT would be here this early in the game. But herO had that early lead, and the first DT sniped the 4th, and that is a game changer. Usually leaving a few Widow Mines at your 4th base is the best way to defend this sort of thing. A Liberator and 2 Widow Mines is going to be amazing with the Planetary, especially as long as you have turrets for the detection. But, dude, that catches him off. He's got Command Center floating down from the main. 2 more Orbitals making. Stalker's coming forward. Crazy attack for herO. Disruptors could zone the south side. The Disruptors are a little slow to throw their balls. Disruptors are starting to go down, man. It's a really sloppy Disruptor micro for herO, but his Zealots are wrecking the tanks on the left, so it might be all okay for him. Stalkers and DTs running in on that north side again. DTs ran in there. Doesn't even matter that the Disruptors did almost nothing. herO just kills him. I want to watch that top side of that fight because I didn't see when the DTs came in and if they did a lot of damage there. So let's just watch that fight again because we're watching the bottom right. So the DT, yeah, I think they kill all this bio without him even looking at it. Oh, he gets the tanks as well, does he? Oh, so Gumiho is so busy microing down there, he loses 2 tanks and a pack of bio pretty much for free. Even though the turret finishes during it, it finishes late. That's pretty huge. And the Zealots getting on top of those tanks that were like mostly unprotected. Gumiho probably would have been better having his army like half on the south, half on the left. But hats off to herO, man. Gets a point on the board. Is this where the comeback starts? herO, of course, never going down without a fight. Just plays a very good, greedy defensive game. Pushes in the late game. DTs on one side. Disruptor, Colossus, Zealot, Stalker on the other. Shuts Gumiho down in that last map. We're going to go into Ghost River. He is going to wall off one of the Reaper ledges. Actually, that's the only Reaper ledge on this map. Never mind. I was thinking there was a different Reaper ledge, but that's a few of the other maps have 2 Reaper ledges, not this one. I guess you can jump Reapers up and down here, but that's like inside the natural, right? That's like, you know, it's kind of inside your base at that point anyway. This is a pretty small map. Very fast, like just shoves. Whether an SCV pull or some form of tank push can be very powerful. I haven't really seen a lot of 3 racks on this map, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do. I guess I just don't see Ghost River all that much. Maybe it does get vetoed by Protoss normally in a shorter best of 3 series, but in a best of 5 here, we are into the last 2 potential maps. This could be the last one if Gumiho wins. Of course, the second last if it takes him 3-2 or if herO wins. Basically what I'm saying there is if herO wins this map. That is a very convoluted way of saying that, wasn't that? When you try to explain things in a unique way and you end up just basically making it sound way more confusing than it actually is. Probe is going to be getting a little bit of damage, but not too much. Good quick pull on the SCV. Now, Gumiho, because he's tracking that probe, you see it's lost its shields. It can't really stop a command center being built, but he sees double gas. He knows there is no command center. This is going to be a quick factory. A double gas opening, ones that can hit you with some absolutely powerful aggressive timing attacks. Generally speaking against this, you just want to play a safer build, whether it's 4-gate Blink, or if you're going to play Stargate, you want to go like Phoenix into charge before starting a 3rd base, or something, or Phoenix into like 3-gate Stalker Adept to stop like the Cyclone Viking push, something like that. You want something a little bit safer, because you just never know what's coming out of a double gas opening. So starting off with a chrono on the Adepts, and notice he's got no warp gate. We also saw he already had 3 workers on gas earlier, so we know he's going Stargate. Where does gas go? I think he had a sentry queued up there because his gas went really low for a second. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an Oracle opening, I would guess. Warp gate's super delayed when you play like this because you just don't have the gas for both things at once. And that Reaper is going to get pushed back. There's already a second Reaper and a Hellion on the way. So usually chronoing at least the first 2 Adepts and then starting a third unit pretty much straight away. You can have a few seconds of cooldown, but as long as you start a third unit pretty much straight away, that's good. He changed the rally point at the last second, dude. If it was rallied south, that Adept may have popped in the pocket and been surrounded. But notice he immediately starts the third Adept. Ooh, the Adept is taking damage, which is kind of risky. On the other hand, he could kill that red hit point Reaper if he's willing to commit, but that means he loses the Adept. Oh, grenades himself, which means it does slow down the Reaper from healing. But it also scared that Adept from finishing its shade. 2 Adepts coming forward. He's regenerated 23 shields. Does take a hit from the Reaper there and does back off on that. As these shades come forward, nice grenade, very nice grenade. The Reapers and the Hellions will be able to take out one Hellion, but oh my gosh, or one Adept I should say, but he's going to lose both Reapers and the Hellion. That's a good trade for Protoss, who hasn't even revealed the Oracle yet. Oh, now if your Adepts can go across, distract the Oracle, the Cyclone, sorry. The Oracle can scoot in the back and get big damage. This could be huge. Now, herO is probing pretty well this game, guys. You know, behind this, considering he's chrono boosted a ton into all of this aggression. Oracle into Phoenix will be the play. Oracle going across the map as well. Cyclone's going to pop out, and it will be nearby to defend. Cyclone very rarely kills the Oracle anymore, though. The old Cyclone really limited the Oracle utility in early game. Oh, he's moving out, though! Just when the Oracle's about to come in, there's a risky move for Gumiho, and it will backfire because he's only going to have 2 Marines ready. Luckily for him, the Oracle is not going in. Oh, the Widow Mine on burrows. That's not good. Burrow. Gumiho, go get a burrow. Oh my god, he should have burrowed straight away. He doesn't. He's going to end up losing that Widow Mine before it can even fire. The SCVs are in trouble. He's trying to pull back into his main. Dude, that main's in trouble. 3 Adepts and an Oracle are going to ruin his day. On the other side of the map, Phoenix is going to try to deal with this with probes. Probes are going to try to fight. The Phoenix will pick up the Cyclones. The Marines are going to do well there. The probes can't quite get behind the mineral line in the main base at the same time. The Oracles and the Adepts are fighting. The Oracle having an absolute party. You can monitor the Oracle kills on the bottom right side. Phoenix use a second lift. It was only 2 Marines, which means the probes, yes, 8 of them die, but they eventually kill those 2, one of the Marines. The other one has to pick up. Phoenix deal with the Cyclone. On the other side, 15 workers go down. That Adept is still alive. How in the hell? The Marines aren't even able to take it out. It escapes with 7 hit points. That looks like a massive advantage for herO, and we might indeed just be getting ourselves a game 5 because this game, look at the supply. It's looking terrible for Gumiho. He's going to try and do a desperate push, but what? There's 3 Phoenix out, a 4th one building. There's a battery on the natural. 3 gateways are up. He can make Stalkers, Adepts, whatever he wants. He can just dive in as well. Phoenix should honestly just kill the Viking first and then pick up the tank. And that's exactly what he's going to do. herO gets game 4, and oh no, Gumiho from up 2-0 is having to play a game 5. All right, forcing a game 5, ready for the comeback, and herO is going to play exceptionally safe. Sends one of his very first probes across the map. Now, this could be for a proxy. Wait, where's he clicked it? Into the base, yeah. Now, he's just going to go in and try and block the barracks, harass the SCVs, and this, of course, keeps him safe against proxy racks and dirty all-ins. Also, just puts a bit of pressure on Gumiho and disrupts his build order. Now, you normally want to optimize by pulling workers off these far patches, rallying them to those close patches after that, but that's okay. He rallies his new probe onto it. You can see 2 workers, 2 workers, 2 workers, 2 workers. Really good doubling up here by herO at the start of this game. Now, this is a massive amount of minerals you lose by sending one of your first probes across, right? Your early mining, your pylon slightly later, your gateway slightly later, your cyber, like everything is slowed down in your build. But look at this, the barracks is not even in the wall off for Terran. You're already doing damage. You're going to utilize these shields to really soften up the SCVs, which could lead to big potential future damage. Now notice he forces an SCV off the line, even though he's not ready to fight. He's going to wait for those shields, but he forces an SCV off the barracks. That delays the barracks by like a good 1.5 seconds. Every time they shuffle SCVs on and off, it delays the Reapers, delays the Marines, and you can see he keeps harassing here, even though he doesn't have his shields up yet. He just wants to waste mining time and do damage, and when his shields are regen, he'll go back to fighting. Will he fight this SCV? Yes, he will. Because he wants to maximize that shield regen time. So once his shields are gone, no worries. I did 20 hit points to you, you did 20 shields to me. I'm going to run away, let those shields regen, and then I'll block your expansion from going down. He's already seen it's only a 1 gas opening, so he just needs to keep his shields up to block the command center on the natural. However, I think he realizes the Terrans these days like to build that command center in their main base a lot of the time, which is why he's like focusing on doing more damage right now over everything else. Command center, we saw in some of the previous series and games started at minute 39, minute 38. You can see already it's 5 seconds late because this probe harass has slowed him down. But nice lower on the depot there. Gumiho does catch it on the corner with the quick Marine. herO would have been safe against a Reaper as that pops out a lot later. Takes a good solid 14 seconds longer to build than a Marine. But still did its job, slowed down the opening, disrupted it. Look how slow down this reactor is, guys. Gumiho kind of umming and ahhing about that for a little bit. Finally builds the depot, finally starts the reactor. And as herO, they always go core before Nexus. I mean, I would love to see Nexus before core with this sort of opening. And I get, like, your stuff is slowed down, and if you delay your core even longer, that's, like, awkward. But for me, I'm just like, oh, come on, man. So many Terrans are building command centers on the high ground. They're playing so conservative. They're not scouting their openings. More than half the time, depending on the player, they're going Marine first or something like that. They're not building a Reaper. I don't know. I just feel like herO could take that chance a tiny bit more. But that's just me being obsessed with my Nexus before core. I'll be the first to admit that. Second barracks on the way. Gumiho's going to go for a Chinese-style TVP. Oliveira. Coffee. Both players very big fans of this, especially if we see the third barracks. To be fair, Gumiho's version often involves just 2 barracks, like that double drop we saw on Alcyon, which did some damage, but I think at the end of the day, I guess we could argue it wasn't overcommitment. It killed like a ton. I don't know if it was actually. No, I think it was fine. I think it was his follow-up attack on the ground on the third. That was the overcommitment. Yeah. I'm confident making that assessment. Adept's trying to chase him down right now. Okay, does cancel the shade at the very last second. Command Center is floating out. So we've got 2 Marines building. It's going to be Tech Lab on the second barracks. And 2 barracks tank Marine push is actually incredibly scary as well, by the way. Because if you don't miss any Marine tank production, you can get a crazy amount of Marines and tanks. And you can even go combat shields first, because you're not going to have medevacs usually. That being said, it's a starport version. So this is a quicker starport. Gumiho does enjoy that. He might even add a Raven with that, even though it's later than a normal Raven. Ooh, Adept's grabbing an SCV. The Marines are rallying in the wrong direction. Oh, he thought the Cyclones were keeping him safe. Or the Cyclone, I should say. Oh, look, don't lose another SCV. Gumiho. Oh, Gumiho's multitasking and just mechanics being a little slow there. Like, he should have been able to defend that much better. 3 SCVs for an Adept. Do you know how good that trade is for herO? herO does not care about Adepts anymore. These units are trash the longer the game goes. They're just a really good early game kind of scout, skirmish, and harassment unit. So trading super positively like that is massive. 2-gate robo into a third base. herO's playing very greedy, though. herO's playing very greedy. We've got a medevac on the way. A lot of Marines building stim and tanks. He is going stim because he's got those single medevacs building. So I think we move out with 2 tanks, honestly. He does have to do a supply drop there as he was distracted, and it feels like Gumiho's build is definitely super de-optimized at this point. He wants that third tank. He doesn't quite have the gas for it. He wants that third tank so badly. Okay, so he's going to hit it 6 minutes with 3 tanks, guys. There is an Immortal and a battery on the way. herO could shut this down out here, potentially. But with only 2-gate production, I think if he builds a second Immortal, herO has this. But herO doesn't know what he's up against. There's an 8 Marine drop moving down that right side. Oh, he's going to go do an 8 Marine drop in the corner of the main at the same time. Very nice. Observer now sees 2 tanks. He sees no bunker, which is already like, And I think, oh, good scan. He does see the second barracks, but I think he's got a good idea that he's under attack right now. Charge starts already. Dark Shrine is something you can do in these sort of games as well. Third gateway, I think, yeah, getting up to like 4 or 5 gates for herO and building that second Immortal, which he's doing. Dude, he's pretty well set up. It's all about this Marine drop, though. If this Marine drop can catch him off guard, that could be massive. It's interesting that he drops outside, though. I think he was expecting this third, maybe, and to catch some probes here. And I guess he doesn't want to risk doing... Oh, maybe he wants to catch the Stalkers from behind, potentially. But it all depends which lane do those Stalkers push backwards on. Because 8 stim Marines doesn't beat that many Stalkers. But if they're all super damaged and they stim into you, you could definitely do pretty well. Yeah, there we go. He's going to stim at them now. These Marines from behind are going to stim as well. Stalkers have not used their blink, though. Really good blink by herO. Nice blink. He only loses 1-2 Stalkers. He's already picked up a lot of the Marines. The Immortals are almost in range of the tanks. The tanks do siege up. One of the Immortal barriers is down. The Immortals trying to dance in and out. They want to buy more time before they fight. I actually think they could fight right now with battery overcharge. The tanks are like just outside of battery overcharge healing, I believe. Oh, man. At 3 Immortals, though, it's go time. Charge is almost ready. I think with battery overcharge, you got to fight right now. Those Immortals could kill that Cyclone so quickly. He's got to be careful of tank fire, though. He's got to be careful of tank fire. Does he have battery overcharge? He's got the energy right now. The main base has energy. Battery overcharge goes in. Immortals are going after the tanks. The Immortals go after the tanks. The Zealots charging on top of the Marines. I think herO should have the numbers to take this out. The Marines are doing pretty well, though. The battery overcharge healing is so good. The bunkers are coming up. Gumiho, he somehow gets a bunker up. Not the second one, though. No Marines inside that second bunker. The Immortals, man. herO seeing what's going on. And honestly, I think those early Adepts really disrupted Gumiho's build. If Gumiho had hit hard and fast, maybe. But dude, herO fighting back from down 0-2. A great hold. and he trades a lot better there. He's up for work. His third command center has only just started. Gumiho definitely still has chances in this game, but they're small, they're slimming. And, I mean, maybe if these Immortals overcommit and the Marines kill them with Stim, maybe? Here we go, Immortals on the right, Stalkers on the left. Marines are going to Stim after those Immortals. I mean, he's going to set off all the barriers and then focus the ones that don't have the barriers, but no combat shields. These Marines get slaughtered. Dude. This is just... I said it at the start of the series. This is just how herO versus Gumiho goes. Gumiho goes tit for tat with him, back and forth, and then herO just kills him. This time it was more of, rather than in each game, it was more at the story of the series. But herO just seems to have Gumiho's number. Oh, and it was so unfortunate. There's Adepts getting and doing so much damage. herO's really good though, let's be honest. He's always going to remain a nemesis for Gumiho, it seems like, and shuts him down here, wins yet another finals. GG, well played, herO, you absolute savage.